G'day guys, welcome back to Supercoach Swordplay. It is Season 5, Episode 9. And there's only the two of us, Spillsy. I'll tell you what, mate, rewind back to 2021 if you don't mind. How are you going, my brother? Good to... Now, I was going to say, great just to have the two of us on, and it's a bit like old times here, but at the same time, Janath is a little bit under the weather, so shout out to you, brother. Never the same without Janath. And Rossco as well. Extremely busy with work, so can't make it tonight either. So shout out to the two of our brothers there, but just the two of us. Just the two of us. How are you, brother?
Yeah, it's a bit cute, isn't it? Going back to old times. Yeah, cheeky little early day swordplay dates that we used to have back in the day. And yeah, I think back to it was a great time because we were just sort of starting out. We could have been anything. We had our own channel, Supercoach Swordplay channel, which was by itself, and we kept that separate because both of us had our own YouTube channels. And I think they only got about 500 or 600 views per poddy. And then we did our first ever collaboration in 2020. And if anyone watching now was around back then in 2020 when we first started, and just terrible form. I mean, both of us had no experience with podcasting. It was a pretty difficult listen. I have listened over it before and have questioned.
Have you really? I couldn't do it.
I've gone into the archives. I think I did it last year or the year before, but I was just curious, and because I remember a couple of mates were asking me about my podcasting journey. I'm like, I'll go all the way back to 2020 when I first sort of met DR, and this is a bit of a tangent. This is not what we really wanted at the start of the podcast, but how this all happened, how Swordplay was created, is myself and DR used to call each other because we were sort of mates from the Twitter community and stuff, and we used to sort of ring each other up. We're all locked down. We used to have these unreal conversations. Sometimes we'd be talking Supercoach for the best part of like 5 hours, just crazy stuff like footy and Supercoach and all sorts of things. We're just thinking, why wouldn't we record this and make a podcast? And it sort of just kicked off from there. So a bit of reminiscing there, mate. But in a weird way, it is kind of good to have just us two once in a while. And looking forward to chatting a bit of Supercoach, despite what was just a bloody awful week for myself. It's the last thing I want to do is front up. But I'm looking forward to the podcast and talking a bit of smack of you, mate. So it should be good.
Good to see, mate. And always good of you to front up. And since 2020, 2021, your pipes have just got bigger, and I'm turning into this little old prune. The wrinkles are coming, the grey hair is coming.
He's got on your head. That's a big call. I don't feel like that.
You're coming into your peak, mate. I am absolutely falling off a cliff at the moment, mate. But let's get into the agenda, Spillsy. We're going to start off with our round reviews after the quick admin stuff. Then I'll have a rant. You'll get into your tweet of the week. Bit of rookie data dump before best value buys. Some really nice buys on the market, Spillsy, between your sort of 470 to 525 mark. We're going to go through all the numbers for those blokes. We're then going to look at the pods in under 5% of sides. There's only a few out there, but we'll have a quick discussion about those guys. The 650K plus club, only 4 of those blokes as well. But is it worth splashing out, getting him in now? Or do we stick to our strategy, hunt the value, and then look to luxury upgrade to these guys a little bit later on in the season? Mailbag, Spillsy. Now, we had a 3-hour deadline today because it's been bloody tough trying to find the time to fit in every question because we hate not answering questions. So we thought 3-hour deadline today. We got Fitty right on the dot. So 50 questions that we are going to answer in the mailbag this week, mate. We've got a slide for those rather than having to flick through Twitter, which would be handy. And then we'll go through our trades, brother. So let's crack right into the meat of this because it's going to be a big one, mate. Shout out to all of our friends from the Royal Children's Hospital. We were able to donate $300 to the Good Friday Royal Children's Hospital appeal. And Spillsy, I sent out a couple of beanies just today. I had one that was ready to go. And as I was looking up and just finalising the order, bang, one came through from Jesse. I won't give the last name out just in case they're not comfortable. But Jesse, thank you very, very much. Managed to send out 2 today. Awesome, and I haven't updated the slide, mate. So that is now at 310 for the RCH, which is absolutely phenomenal. Great support from our community. Great support from our sponsors at Speedy Tees. And people, get around Game Day Squad. we've told you about this for the last few weeks. We're going to start to really get into some juicy content for the Game Day Squad crew, but use the code word peanut to receive $20 worth of free packs on us and on them. That's all part of our partnership. Free to play, Spillsy, and some great weekly prizes, my friend. Let's get into the round reviews now. Oh, we're going a little bit. Oh, geez, getting a little bit too excited there. Turbo through this to.
I wish we could skip it.
Questions. Well, how do you want to do it? Do you know what? We might, and I don't want to be disrespectful saying this, but get Janath and Rossco out of the way because our brothers aren't with us at the moment. Yeah. We haven't really got any context or notes behind their scores, mate. But Janath with a 23.54, pretty solid type score there. We can see him season rank 2667, and we know that he brought in Jordan Dawson. And I remember you saying this, Spills. I've said it in a couple of my last videos last week when Janath mentioned that he was going with Dawson. You said the professor, anything he touches turns to gold.
He does everything.
What did that happen? How does he do it, Spills? How does this man do it? I don't know. Remember when he held on to LDU, when people were falling over themselves to get him out of their sides? He said, nah, we're going to keep the faith. And he goes bang, 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 close to 600K again. He's done it with Jordan Dawson here, mate. So he's an absolute genius. And our brother Rossco, the Saints bounced back this week, which was nice. And look, although the Supercoach isn't traveling swimmingly at the moment, 47.691 with a 2.251 round score, his game day squad, I tell you what, if you had a top 0.05%, that's where Rossco would be right up there in the hunt there, Spillsy. So, yeah, going all right, our two boys there. And for myself, mate, 24.16, 3,686. So that's top 2% at the moment. Captain Sherry, and I was celebrating until Big Maxi went absolutely bananas. I might have a quick rant about this man in a minute. Trades for me, out was Oliver and Stone. I didn't even want to trade at all, Spillsy, but when the news that Clary wasn't looking or feeling too great, I thought, look, the decision's been taken away from us now. You've got to get rid of the man. And I did need to get rid of Connor Stone as well. Missed out on Dawson and Track. I was spewing. So bit of a late call. Brought in my man, Josh Dunkley. Enjoyed his game. And I tell you, he was ripped off with some tackles. He absolutely was. Good plays for me. Dale 124. Whitfield 111. Chocky back in form with that 3-rounder. Spillsy 124. Rankin 138. McRae we've all got in for that 160. And Ryan Marriage. Geez, that was a good 50-50 decision there between the Humpty and Marriage, mate, because 131 the weekend. People are asking me the question now to know about yourself. Is this bloke actually going to be a keeper? If he is,
I think he could be.
Well, we'll talk about that when we get closer to the mailbag, I think, mate. A couple of questions about that one. But just to end with me, the big crosses this week, Flinney, again, we'll talk about him. Massive question marks over him all of a sudden, particularly at flex. Geez, very worried all of a sudden at R2. Lindsay, I was expecting more from him with the easy matchup. And I don't want to spills. I'm sorry. I don't want to have to do this. But your man, Riley Bice, scoring the 40s, Spillsy. You were VCing him the other week. All of a sudden, come crashing down. We need to talk about this later. If you're keeping the faith. Well, it happens, doesn't it? It happens, mate. But
even Andy B, we've had a bad one. You know, Dacos had a bad one. They kind of Strong's had a bad year. Like they all, Tom Stewart has had a howler. So, you know, I guess
he's not a pick anymore, Spills. He's retired as a super coach. I've retired him now, Tom Stewart. Sorry, I've retired you, Tommy. Watch him absolutely come and bite me for saying that, Spills.
I think he's safe. It's a safe call.
There's my round review, mate. Talk about yours. How you going, brother?
I reckon I don't mind making big calls on this podcast. And if I was to make a big call, I'm going to jump in and say that this is probably one of the worst weeks I've had in Supercoach history. And it's not that bad of a score when you look at it in any sort of week. But in the context of what else happened, all the antipods that I don't have, you know, and a couple of, I suppose, wannabe primos and a couple of pods in my side that really let me down. And I know I can be, that might sound a little bit stiff because a lot of them have been just super superb. So I guess I'll start with Jordan Clark. So yeah, he popped a 58 for me. I'm not really sure what happened there. The Saints, they just rolled him, and it felt like Ryan was taking a lot of the junk at times, particularly in the first half. That's just what the eye test was. I'm pretty sure he scored a ton in Supercoach. So maybe that affected Clark. I don't really know, but yeah, it was just an absolute shambles, and he's been super consistent. So I think he can bounce back. But the 58 hurts, considering he is more of a pod. I think he'd be one of my most lowly owned players in my side when you look at the sort of the top 1 to 5%. So that one hurt. Brayshaw had a bad one, 87. Like Dacos, I know everyone's got him, but he had a bit of attention put into him up until about 3/4 time. They started tagging him a little bit. Obviously, you do that. So, yeah, that one, they all add up. Rosie, 78, had a lot of it, but I think just turned it over. It's a game that I saw absolutely nothing. I didn't see any of it, but yeah, I'm pretty sure it's just ineffective. So I'm not too worried about him. I think the role's still going to be good. I think he's still the man down there at halfback. So I don't know. I'm not too worried, but that one hurt. Chera 82. He's going to be a massive talking point this week. He's one that I really am looking to get rid of. Matty Flynn, 53. That hurt. You just brought up Bice, 42. So they're all the on-field scores that did hurt, but it wasn't that. I can cop those 70s and 80s from under 14 premiums. It's what happens off the field that hurts me so much. Hewitt, 97 on the bench. So I picked Cleary over Hewitt because I was going to always straight up Levi Ashcroft. But yeah, Hewitt, 3 goals, a real clutch one at the end. So I lost about 30-odd points there. I traded Zach Reed out and Josh Pryor. I needed their money to get Petrarca in, which was a good trade. But this was up until I found out that Oliver was out. And because I'd used the 2 trades to get that done, I only had 4K. So by the time I found out Oliver was out after footy training, I've only got whatever Oliver is priced at. That's all I've got to spend. So I've got to hold him for another week. I couldn't really go down 21. I didn't know. I wasn't keen on going early on Hustweight, so I held Oliver. So I think I'll be holding for a little bit. But yeah, Reed was really, really good. That's gonna be one of the biggest blows ever. I needed his money, and there's just so much more meat on the bone now for that pick. So that one hurts.
Yeah.
And yeah, these antipods, no Gawn, no Bont, no Dawson, Merritt, even Whitfield, like he's been serviceable. And then the biggest blunder of the week was we brought in Buslinger over Hustweight. So he got bevoed. He was the sub.
You jump on the bus early, did you, mate?
I jumped on him early, and
I'll
tell you why, mate. I was this is what happens when you actually play footy yourself. This sort of shit happens. You're out there running around. I didn't know he was sub. I had no idea. I didn't know Oliver wasn't going to be named.
No.
I was at footy training. I'm running around playing footy, an hour or whatever until it's probably on me. I could have checked the teams to make sure that he was 100% going to be picked. But even if he wasn't named, I would have had to have gone early on a Fonty, like super, super early, because I couldn't fit another midfielder in after trading the 2 Dons boys that locked themselves out on Thursday night. So my round was cooked from the get-go. Did VC Cherry, but it meant nothing. I mean, look at this, like rank 8.2K, we dropped 3.2. I've never VC'd someone for a 140 plus and then dropped that much in the ranks. So yeah, bit of a tangent there, bit of a ramble, but DR, this round hurt me more than any other round I've ever played. So, yeah.
It hurts. Do you know what? I'll say a couple of things, mate. The first thing is, if you add 3 points to your score, a 23.01, it would feel and seem so much better, particularly when you see that next to Janath 23.50 odd. You think, oh, well, it's not too bad. I reckon mentally that's just a big thing, 3 points there. And, yeah, with the bus, he got bevoed. And it's like you jump on the bus stop, it's a sunny day, really nice neighborhood. And it's like you close your eyes for an hour and wake up, that real dingy, dirty, dark city with like all those hobos around. It's you got nowhere to go. You have to get off the stop. That was tough, man. Yeah, the bus got better.
That's how I felt, mate. I felt exactly like that when I loaded up the app and saw a 4 on my bench. And I didn't even need to look. I knew he was subbed from that score, and I just thought, you've got it. I hate Luke Beveridge. Get him out of here.
Get out of it, Bevo.
Sack him, mate.
We could see the top of the pod here. Now, do you know what? If we look at this, we've got the great man there, Janath. Number 1, I'm 2 and you're 3 for now. Rossco is coming. He will come like an absolute steam train towards the mid buys, mate. I'm telling you that much. But if you look at the difference here, so it's under 50 points between Janath and myself, and that's about 1,000 in the ranks. And then if you look at you as compared to me, it's under 150 points. So we're talking you're only, under 200 points away from Janath, 8,000 to 2,000 odd. That's how tight it is at the moment, mate. So we get a couple of trades right, we get these value picks in and nail the captain, then it's anyone's season. I tell you what, he's going to be hard to beat, the professor, because as you said, anything he touches turns to gold. But I tell you what, Spillsy, I think that some of our struggles have come from not owning this man. And this is my rant for this week. Bloody hell, Spills, not owning Max. As I said before,
it's painful.
You're locking, isn't it?
It hurts so much.
But it's
35 disposals as a ruckman. Who does that?
I don't swear on the potty, but this has got me.
I'll give you a mulligan here. Go for it.
Yeah, fuck off.
You're watching, block your ears.
Come on. I've said it. Like, I'm sorry. I don't think the kids will be watching this one. Even so, we all have our moments, kids, and I'm sorry. I apologize. But, come on. What is this man doing at his age, Spills? Remember people trading him out after those 2 low games? Tristan Sherry absolutely tore him a new one, and people said, he's done, he's over, he's washed, he's finished. And I celebrated as a Sherry owner going, yes, I've got the young buck in his prime. But not owning him for the last couple of weeks, people are captaining him. It's been the difference between me really climbing up in the ranks. Because I look in all areas of my field and I think, you know what, it's not too bad, and this is the thing with owning Sherry, mate. This is why we've got the ice cream scoop there. I was trying to think of a way to describe how this feels. Sherry compared to even Gawn, right? Because it's like when you're a kid, right? We've got the ice cream scoop here. I go down, Mr. Whippy comes, and you know what? With Tristan Sherry, I'm not even saying it's a nice 1 scoop. I'm saying Tristan Sherry is a 2 scooper, Spills, a nice 2 scooper. Big waffle cone as well. So I'm talking waffle cone with a big 2 scooper. You walk away, you turn your back, and you are happy as Larry licking that ice cream. But then you see someone another kid come up, and he gets a 3 scooper. You're happy with your 2, thinking this is brilliant. But then you see that 3 scooper, and you just think, do you know what? All of a sudden, I just don't feel as good about myself. And you look down at yours, and it's just smaller. It's not as big. That's the story of my life, Spillsy, you may say, mate. No Nicky Dell, but no Nicky Rewalt. I can say at the same time, mate. I better move on from this one. But you know what I'm saying, mate. I just want that.
I get what you mean. That's like the single ice cream cone. That's sort of, I feel like I hate to, again, remind all the Sarong owners, but I feel like that's what it's like owning Sarong. He's getting a single one.
He's a single cone.
He's a single cone. The 2 scoops are the 146 from Cherry. 2 scoops is great. I mean, I'm never complaining with 2 scoops of ice cream.
You can't complain.
But when you see a 198 from someone that's knocking on the door 35, I mean, yeah, he should be in the retirement village of AFL at this point, and he's playing in career best form. It's uncanny how good he's playing. I heard him talk about it on, Fireball with Kane and Kingy, and they're weighing up whether he's the best ruckman of all time. And like, I know there's obviously players way before me, and even Dean Cox is a little bit before me, but I think Max Gawn's the best to ever do it. He's just an unbelievable player.
Not an outrageous call. Not an outrageous call.
But you think about the prelim. He kicked 5 goals. He loves that venue. He took the piss out of Matty Flynn, who's, he's no spud. Like, we saw him score 140 last week or so. So yeah, it's a big game for Max Gawn. It's a big statement game. It's how dare you overlook me because of my age? And he'll keep proving us wrong year after year until, I think he retires, and then it'll be very conclusive by then. But I think we just keep picking him until the end of his career, because he's just he will come in. He will come in eventually, whenever that is. But yeah, it'll definitely be he in the flex with a Cherry TDK. There's no way that I'm not going to jump on him at some point. But I think, as hard as it is, wasn't there for these scores. The ship has sort of sailed. He's knocking on the door, 700k. He will get there. So it's a tough anti-pod, mate. And yeah, it's a fair and reasonable rant, because yeah, it breaks your heart when you see scores like that. And a lot captained him too. A lot of owners did
Yeah,
captain him.
that's what hurts. And go quickly back to the ice cream. You wouldn't remember this, Spillsy. You're too young, but for the older generation, maybe 80s, 90s, the old sizzler. You can just go back, Spills. It was all you can eat, and you just get the little bowl with the soft serve and just keep on going back. That's what owners are doing at the moment, just getting their ice cream, finishing it, and getting back. Just not even the 3 scoops at the moment, Spills. It's disgraceful not being an owner.
Dabble in that. I'm getting ice cream tomorrow. I'm bloody excited. I've been thinking about it all week. And gee, wouldn't I love that?
Yeah, the
Lotto, mate.
Buffalo Bill the other day, Spills, as well, and almost cracked my tooth on the bubble. I should have known that the gum had been frozen. And I just went to it was bad, mate. But let's get into your tweet. A big rant about Maxi, but one of your boys here, Spillsy, tweet
one of my boys.
Week. Here we go, mate.
Yeah, read of the week. Yeah, I was a bit late to follow him, actually. We've shouted him out before on the podcast, but yeah, this reader of the week was obviously Zach Reed, the infamous trade out that was made by myself, and just hands in my head type stuff. I brought him up earlier on, but yeah, 90 fantasy points, 15 touches, 102 Supercoach is what we go by, 7 tackles and 7 intercepts, and yeah, the highlights from who is becoming the most consistent read of the week. And you've got the numbers. I think he's got the little vote count here. So you got Zach on 10, Murphy on 7, Archer Ethan on 5, and Harley's having a shambles. He got tagged pretty heavily. That's a story itself. But Zach Reed, talk about rising from the dead. Couldn't get on the park. Burned us all last year. And, well, he's burned us again. He's burnt those that weren't patient and needed the money that traded him out. He's burnt me because, well, not really. I've burnt myself trading him out because his output's just been nothing short of spectacular. And I definitely wish if I had my time again, I'd still own him because I think he can make at least another 50K. He's been exceptional, been one of the real positives for Essendon. And as a supporter, I can't remember celebrating a win all season. I don't think there's been a single win where I've been up and about for. It's just like, oh yeah, a bit of relief. They got it done. But a small win would be the way Merritt's playing, and then also Zach Reed. So, yeah, this was a pretty fair and reasonable tweet of the week, mate. So, yeah, shout out to Reed of the week, doing great stuff. And, Zachy boy, definitely my good books at the moment.
Love it, mate. Well, you said he's burnt you. For me, mate, he's just like a nice warm blanket at the moment to just get me through the winter. When it's upgrade season this summer, off he comes. See you later, mate, in the cupboard. And, get the togs out. You'll never see me in my togs, mate. That would be a really dangerous sight, I think, mate. Not getting
the rig out on the occasion?
Absolutely not. The rig doesn't exist, mate. You think you think someone's in a skeleton suit at Halloween. Halloween's come early that day, mate. But let's change things up, and we're going to get to some hot topics, being the injuries. Now, we haven't got Janath here and Rossco to steer the ship. Getting a little bit loose, Spillsy, back to 2020.
So loose.
A bit retro, mate. But let's stay on track here. We're going to get to the injuries. I'm going to try to zip past this, mate, and really stick to the relevance. Probably the one here will start Adelaide is Matty Crouch, so out for your 4 to 6 weeks. Surely someone like a Sid Draper. I was saying to Scobes the other week, was it Scobes or someone that surely with Crouch now out, they don't go back to your Berry types. He's not the future. Draper's going to get a full game. His break-even's around the 80 mark, mate. As soon as he gets a full game, week after, if they keep the faith, then we need to jump on. But, I don't know what they're doing there.
Could help Dawson too. So I think a lot of Dawson advocates for this week. So I reckon that could only improve Dawson's CBAs, and all he has to do is hit targets now. This is on him, but that's a positive for Jordan Dawson. A pretty good price. So, yeah, good result.
Absolutely, mate. For Brisbane, probably the interesting one here is Sam Day going down. Henry Smith are other big guys also out for your 8 to 9 weeks. We've also got question marks on Logan Morris. So does that mean that Ty Gallup potentially comes into the side, or else potentially even a Darcy Fort as well, who is on the bubble as a ruck forward? I wouldn't be going there at this stage. For Carlton, you've got Shinkoda playing back, sort of wing. He's out for another week. Cottrell for 4 to 5. You got Kemp out, obviously, for the season. Silvani is likely back this week. Williams still out with a calf for 1 to 2. So we're hoping that Carroll keeps his spot. Fingers crossed. It also says Pitto, 34 hit out, 16 disposals. Surely not, mate. Surely not.
Before you move on to Collingwood, we Kadeen wasn't on there. Kitty Coleman was not on the injury list. Played VFL on the
Ooh.
weekend, had 30 and scored 130 Supercoach or something like that. So in the mix, could be back sooner than we expect. Who does that affect? Does that affect Dane Zorko? Does it affect a Jasper Fletcher? Like, what are they doing with that role? So that's a watch this space for us nervous Zorko owners, that's for sure.
It's very interesting that you asked that, mate, because I have a direct question about that. We do in the mailbag. So
Yes.
we'll absolutely answer that one
Bring it.
directly, mate. For the Pies here, Finn McRae, bad luck. Tommy Mitchell, I don't think I'm missing much there in regards to relevance. Your two big boys, mate, and Brian and Draper, are Gonski, which means Goldie has really been, doing a phenomenal job, I think, with his age. The big
Jordan
one here in the
Ridley.
talking point is the Riddler, your man in the background there, mate. He's just
breaks my heart,
so
man.
unreliable, mate. I'm sorry, but look, good news is that Caldwell should be back this week. Shields also available. What does that mean for someone like a Sardis? Does he keep his spot? Not too sure. But what I'm hoping, and I think a lot of us just have fingers crossed, Spills, is with Ridley out, is there a potential chance for our man Sard, to get a full game? Is there any
roles? Ridley a bit taller, a bit more intercepty. It's a bit tricky, but 8 weeks is a long time. I think that if anyone was going to benefit from it, it's a big hypothetical, but let's say we bring in Lewis Hayes. He's that Ridley type in the VFL, and he's been in some pretty cracking form. So if he gets an opportunity, he's pretty cheap. I reckon he's about 113K defender. So yeah, it could be my avenue out of bustling if that's a real bust of a pick. So I think that's the main one, but hopefully Sard can get into the side. But yeah, I think Hayes is watch this space, see what he can do.
We can only hope, can't we, mate? Noddy is an interesting one. Could potentially be back this week. Now, the big one here I need to go straight to is Hayden Young, 10 to 12 weeks. Now, this certainly opens up some opportunity. I've got
Brody.
As many. Well, it could potentially be Will Brody. Will Brody from the dead. Remember he had that one awesome season and then just fell off a cliff. Yeah. But Spills, I'm hoping, mate, there's a bloke on the bubble by the name of Neil. You don't hear too many Neils these days, do you? Neil Erasmus with DPP status at 119K on the bubble, if you don't mind. I'm hoping, Spills, that he can somehow get a full game. If we're desperate, if he's a sub, do we even go there? I'm not too sure, but it's going to be interesting. And even if we do go Erasmus, we'll talk about him later. If not, he isn't back this week, surely back the next. Interesting times there, mate, but we'll talk about
Matty Johnson too. I don't know. He's not injured. He's just dropped, isn't he? Because he wasn't on the list.
You, mate.
I can't remember seeing. Maybe got a haircut or something. I can't remember seeing him play. If he is playing, then he's not doing much, but yeah, he's probably in the mix as well. Don't know.
Geelong. These, what do you even say about the Geelong injury list, mate? We'll skip past Tanner and these guys. Lawson Humphrey. Janath is still a test with a foot. Graham, Tommy Stewart. As I said, I just don't think that he's really a pick anymore, mate. I'm just going to skip past Geelong because you don't know what to believe anyway. It's absolutely, is it real? Is it fiction? I just don't know with them. GWS, I don't think too much relevance there, mate. Gold Coast. GWS, Big Kizza is a test with an ankle. Cogs is another week away. Leak for anyone that was hoping that he comes back from the dead. Not too sure there. I don't think a lot of relevance there, mate, unless I'm missing someone. Cal Amon may be coming back from concussion. He's a test. Cam McKenzie, hand 1 to 2 weeks. Huswade is probably in until Nash comes back. He's one that's not listed there with suspension.
Does he hold? Has he done enough? He's not getting dropped for Nash. They do something else.
When Nash comes back, I thought you were talking this week. Well, look, we will talk about him, mate, but surely he's got 2 price rises in him until Nash comes back. And look, potentially, mate, does the Ward come out of the side? There's a few pieces that could move that I don't think are absolutely dead set locked into the 22. Still time to experiment a little bit more. And from what I've seen so far, he's looking pretty good, mate. So, yeah, it's going to be just a really interesting one with team sheets coming out when Nash is available in particular, mate. The D's, Lever, obviously out for 2 to 3 weeks. Clary will have to wait and see what happens there. But I heard he was back at training. So, just have to sort of see how we go there. Not too much at North, I don't think, mate, to talk about there. Cochrane, 8 to 12 weeks, if anyone's looking at him as a rookie. Sin could be back this week. Boak maybe still out. Don't think much relevance there at the Tigers,
ACL
mate.
at Richmond. I haven't seen that. That's
Jeez, yeah, Gibkiss, Houghton is meant to be an absolute superstar, mate. I jumped on him in a keeper draft with a nice late pick, which I reckon was a steal. I can't even say his name, but the big fella.
Foul.
Thank you, Spills. Added a bit of class there, mate. Very nice. I was going to butcher it, and Tyler Young as well. But 2 to 4 weeks. Nice to see him back soon. Sainers, mate. This is actually big because you've got Mason Wood potentially coming back, as well as Mateus, and the rookie on everyone's lips this week is Huey Boxall, Mr. Box Hill, as Abs would say, the squad father. So, yeah, this is potentially really relevant, I think, for his chances this week. And it may look like if he's in, and I'm talking Boxall, maybe the sub. So I'm hoping he's not, hoping he gets a full game because I think he deserves it. But have to wait and see there, mate. The Swannies, Mills, I don't know what's really going to happen there. Patton is a test with a calf. And probably the big one here from the West Coast Eagles, mate, is Jeremy McGovern. So I know that George, our man, is a Sandy Brock owner. And Sandy Brock is also on the bubble as a 99K defensive option.
I think he's in the grave, unfortunately, for the great man.
You reckon?
I can't think Sandy Brock's coming back.
Well, it says he'll be considered here, mate. The other thing of note as well, Clay Hall absolutely smashed it. I think 31 touches, led the side for tackles. I'm still an owner of Held. So
Held Gross instead. What am I thinking?
Well, it says here in saying that draftee Tom Gross was excellent again and is pushing for a recall after rotating forward more often. Now, just looking at the numbers when I was comparing Hall and Gross, I thought to myself, well, Hall has clearly won out with the numbers here, but I didn't realise that Gross had actually played more of a forward role. So when you look at these 20-odd disposals, I think it was from memory, that's actually more impressive than what it would be, in my opinion anyway, playing in the midfield. So, yeah, that could be a good thing for Gross. And surely one of them, Spillsy, comes back. Surely one of them, mate. You've got one, I've got the other. Shake hands on this, mate. Good luck. Rock, paper, scissors, whoever wins.
I'd rather Clay Hall, honestly, but we'll see.
All right, mate. We'll go with Clay Hall because I'm an owner there as well. The Dogs, Darcy's obviously out there, mate. Cody Waitman is indefinite, which is interesting. Don't know if there's anything else there, brother. So that was injuries, mate.
I think there's one thing that I didn't get to jump in there, but Callum Mills, not too far away.
Your man.
Does that affect Warner's CBAs? I know Mills is going to be a good price, and he might be a talking point if he's got form. But does he just go straight into the midfield? Because they're a bit lackluster in there, and can Warner run it out? This will be one of many, few hot topics that we're about to go into when we get to the mailbag. I think, that will Warner be able to hold those. I think it's up about 75%, where it was 60, 65 3 weeks ago. So is this, I know it's bloody crazy form, but is it sustainable? That's the big question. Are we going to see 75 every week?
What I'll say with that, mate, if you're directly talking about Callum Mills, it just said they're like a week-to-week proposition. This bloke, would we be surprised if it dragged out for another 4, 5, 6 weeks? No, it's like, I wouldn't be relying or basing my Warner trading decision based on Callum Mills. I just don't think we can at this stage. And when he does come back, surely they've got to ease him into it. They can't just chuck him straight into the midfield again and go, off you go, son. They have to be ultra cautious with him, surely. So, no, my answer to that would be no. It wouldn't worry me too much. Look, when he's back fit and firing, if that happens, and I hope that it does for his sake, then potentially, mate, because we may even have Errol back at that stage. Who knows? I think he's, 5 to 7 or something it said then. So interesting, mate. Very interesting. But what is interesting is the list of players that we have here. A massive list here, mate. Now, this is absolute stock market style. This is stocky style. I thought need to do something a little bit special, a little bit different this week because I've been a little bit late. That's a lot of little bits, but been a little bit late on the stockies as well, mate. So what we have here, Spillsy, is the Primo value bucket, and it's the stocky on steroids here because we've got the last score added as well as the ownership here as well, just as a slight bonus here. Now, why have we got the Primo value bucket? Because this is where all the action's at, my friend. All the action. And what we've done here is we've compiled a list. We've got a defender, a couple of mids, some forwards, as well as a ruck. So we've tried to cover all the areas here in as quick as time as possible, mate. So I'll quickly go down the list and then we'll talk about all of these blokes individually. Firstly, we've got Chadley Warner. We've then got Isaac Rankin, Christian Petrucker as our 3 forward options. Now, the only defensive option I've got here, and I could have had Bailey Dale, but this may be just personal. It's just been a struggle owning Dale, so I didn't actually include him here. I probably should have just have another option, but we do have Josh Dacos here, mate, as a defensive mid. The midfielder only selections we have Jordan Dawson and Josh Dunkley. I think they could be really solid, mate. And then our ruck only there is Big Romo, Rowan Marshall at 471k. So straight off the bat, mate, let's talk about Chad Warner. Massive game from him last week. We can see the last score column there, a 140. The 3-rounder is at 111. If you looked at this 3-rounder a few weeks ago, it was dodgy Spills. No one wanted a sniff of him. No one wanted a bar of this bloke. And now this week, and I'll put my hand up, myself included, because I could trade him in Clary to Warner in one trade last week, but I didn't have the faith. It's amazing after just 1 week, mate, how your opinion changes on a player. But with all things considered, a break even of 26, he goes 110. He's going up an extra 37k and all of a sudden getting closer and closer to his original starting price. Owns currently, when I put this slide together, which was earlier today, 8% of the competition. What are your thoughts on Chadley, mate? Are you a fan? And then talk to us, do a little bit of a deeper dive.
Yeah, he's my favourite trading target for this week. So Chad's got Essendon this week, and yeah, I can vouch for him every day of the week. He's going to towel us up. We're not going to have an answer for him. Yeah, he's going to dominate. It's a Marvel as well, and doesn't matter. Like Sydney Pumpers, it's always a good contest, but they always tend to get the job done. Also, I think he's got Richmond and Melbourne. I'm pretty sure. No, Carlton and Melbourne. He's got good scoring history against them as well, and just the break even does it for me. The 26 break even, someone I'm picking for sub 500k, but I think he's a top 6 forward. I really do, and yeah, I like the point that you raised this time last week when we were talking about it, but hopefully by the end of the season, when we've sort of got a fully upgraded side, and that flex spot can accommodate those mulligan scores that we get from Warner on the occasion. And I don't think many Primos will be doing that as consistently as Chad, but I think this is the perfect time to bring him in. The mid forward, he's cheap, break even's great, the form's good, the CBAs are up 10% since they were last 3 weeks ago. So it's a really important trading and a bit of a pod, but I'll tell you what, it won't be a pod for much longer. I reckon he will be close to 50% owned by the top 1 to 5% after this week. If I can make a sort of bold prediction, big trade target. And I don't like spoiling too much, but he's in my trade plan, so I can't see a world where I didn't bring him in. And I've already got like a Rankin track, and I think that's it. So I like Warner the most out of the guys that I don't have. So huge very on the nice. Chad DR. Very, very happy. And Janath owns him as well. So there's going to be a lot of good luck attached to this pick, and I feel a lot more comfortable knowing that the professor has taken the punt on the Chad. And I think
absolutely, mate.
Less sleepless nights on this pick.
Yep, into the sunset, mate. And you're right with the history as well. Looking at this in last 3, 102, 117, 118. Carlton, 172, if you don't mind. Last game in 2024, a 112, and then a 51. And then Melbourne, 118, 107, and then a 59. So two really low scores there. Run. But the rest, really nice, mate. And the last 2, 121, 140, after a 3-run stretch, 54, which is sub-affected, 81, 71. The perfect time to jump on for me as well, mate. Big Rowan Marshall. Now, this is a really tough one because I think a lot of this is also team dependent. What do you do? I don't think there's too many teams that are looking to get him in that R2 position. I think it's a flex. Is it for your TDK? Is it for, could you go up to an Archer Reed somehow? Do you go from your Flynn? So they're probably the 3 blokes that you're looking at. If you're maybe a Nank owner or a random type owner, then maybe that's a case. But It's the break even again here, Spills, and we know about this bloke's history and what he can do when he's absolutely on his game. I think a couple of years ago, many of us were even looking to start him as our R1. I think he was close to the most expensive ruck that we could have selected in our sides, but all the way down now at 471k, the 3-rounder isn't fantastic with 103, but the last score there, 112, is healthy, but 31 for break even, Spills. If he goes 100, he's going up another 30k, and he's only owned by 3% of the comp. So what I'm thinking is, could this be you have your cake and eat it type thing where you bring in a player that can give you a really nice score on field, make you some coin, and then just offload him when the time is right as a bit of a luxury? Maybe you're thinking to yourself, do I jump on Rowan now? Don't want to go all the way up to Gawn. Can't afford him. I'll go Rowan now. Use him as someone, as a bit of a tool to try to build up to Gawn, and hopefully Gawn will come down, because surely Gawn's not going to stay at 750k, mate. He can't be scoring 170s, 200 each week. He's got to come down.
Yeah, it'll come eventually.
It's got to happen, mate. When it doesn't feel like any time soon, but it will happen. So this is a play that when I say lots of people, I definitely know a few people are looking at this week. So do you feel any which way about Rowan Marshall, mate? And just quickly looking at his numbers here. So against Carlton last 3, 120, 118, 88. West Coast 123, 85, 104. So not the best against West Coast. You probably hope for a little bit more. And then Gold Coast, a very tough matchup, 117, 58, 96. So all in all, mate, if I look at these matchups here, history isn't fantastic, but history doesn't always mean everything. What do you think on Romo for those people looking to get him in?
Yeah, I don't like this pick, to be honest. I reckon the flex is a dangerous one. I reckon if we're bringing in a Rowan, he's probably the last person we want. I mean, worry about getting the rookies off field, worry about finalising your side before you bring in a third ruckman, because a flex position, you're sort of ruling that out for the rest of the year. I mean, how many times? I mean, I've had mid forwards there. I've had Ashcroft there for a while. I've had Flynn there. I mean, the flex has just been such a handy acquisition. If I want an extra defender rookie, I can do that. So yeah, it's a bit of a risky play. And I reckon it's targeted at a very specific audience. And it's decides that, let's say you have Gawn R1 and then Cherry R2. You don't have a TDK, and it really, really works out for you. I like the value, but I still don't think there's enough scope. There's other things that I'd rather do. I'd have him last by a long way out of all of these picks. So not to say that he's a bad pick, but I just think he's a little bit unnecessary. I don't know. Am I crazy for saying that? But
unnecessary may be harsh depending on people's circumstances. But I know exactly what you're saying. And
yeah, I think you'll wait for a third ruck. I think you completely side first, and then you go, okay, I might grab a third ruckman. Oh, gee, Rowan's cheap. And then I've got some trades up my sleeve. Might be able to get him gone soon. We'll see what happens. But that's a long way away. That's at least like a good month to 2 away. So probably not now. The timing's terrible.
If you don't own one of the two big boys, surely you got to prioritize them. Is it stuffing around a bit too much? Maybe getting Marshall in, because you know that, if you don't want to have him as flex and you don't have both of Sherry and Gawn, then I think you've really got to go there. Particularly Sherry, he's cheaper than Gawn at the moment. He's still got a low break even, although you are paying up. But yeah, I'm sort of with you there, Spills. I could see it working out okay, but I'm not a huge fan myself. However, huge fan of this, mate. At 520k with a break even of 48 in the showdown. Is that what you call it in Adelaide? The showdown?
Yeah, the showdown, mate.
It's the showdown, isn't it?
The showdown, big occasion.
George's landing down Jules's land. So the showdown, I think he's a big game player. I've just got a feeling about this week, mate. We saw the last score there, 138. Over the season, he's been pretty consistent. He's been, he dealt with that minor calf injury, but still played the game, which was really good, and managed to get a half-decent score for us. If you look at the ownership here, mate, probably the big thing that stands out is he's owned by 36% of the comp. So I would view him as the safest pick here, I think, given his ownership and given what he's produced so far. Are you all in for getting Isaac Rankin in if you haven't got him this week, mate?
Yeah, it's funny. I had Chad Warner at 1, but that was because obviously I've got Isaac Rankin.
Well, price considered, I probably would suit you.
I would say
there's not that much between them, is it? It's like
Nah,
32K.
I would say
Oh,
that Isaac Rankin is the only player on this list that is a must-have. And 36%, it just seems a little bit too low. Like, he is unbelievable. Like,
I love
he
that
is
call,
top
Spills.
2 forward,
I
I
love
think.
that call. I agree. I reckon
36
Isaac.
is too low. If you don't have Rankin, get him in. I mean, the break even, it's not as low as Warner, but Warner's a bit of an interesting one because there's a lot of value, and I think he can be top 6. Isaac Rankin can be F1 if he plays his cards right. And he's been in filthy form.
Yeah, that's
Last 2
great.
weeks has been savage. I mean, if I didn't own Rankin, not owning Gawn and Bond, Butter's been pretty tough, but couldn't imagine not owning Isaac Rankin. I've had him for a long time, and I started with him. So, yeah, it's not one I really worried too much about. So if you don't have him, 36% way too low for me. But I reckon this is overall ownership. If you put that in the top sort of 1%, I think the numbers would be a lot higher. I think you're looking at least 60, 70%. So
That's a great
yeah,
point. And that's something I
just
always do
do
is,
yourself
I'll
a
look at the,
favor. Bring him in.
sorry,
Bring him.
yeah,
If you don't have Rankin, bring him in. Don't worry about Chad.
couldn't agree
Get
more.
Rankin.
Yeah. The
Enough
only thing I was
said,
going
JR. He's just a big game player, like he said. And he's consistent. Doesn't have to be a big game. He turns up every week. He's had a couple of ordinary scores, but they're not flaws. Like 80 is about as bad as it gets. So
yeah, he can hack it. Yeah.
and then he goes bang. So yeah, big advocate for Isaac. So he's good. Next bloke too, Track. He's found form as well. So I think I'd put him up there in the pedigree of Warner, but Warner for this week is a better buy. But I think Petrarca's probably a better pick overall. What do you reckon? You agree with that one, DR? You have anything about Track you want to touch on?
I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure because
he's just pulled this form out of his ass. But like Chad Warner, the CBAs have gone up.
Yeah,
so
look, that's true. Look, I don't mean it to sound as disrespectful as this will, but just for lack of a better word or a better phrase, fool's gold. Now, this is way too disrespectful to say it's fool's gold, but the only thing I'm looking at here, Spillsy, has been his last 2 opponents. Now, he's played West Coast and Richmond, and he's finally got his pair of 129s. Before that, literally didn't hit the ton. Now, Janath did make a good point. You've got a 98, a 92, a 96, a 94. So he wasn't that far off. Was he building? Was he building, or did he just take advantage of a fixture that a player of his quality, they should take advantage of? That's what's on my mind about the pick spills, because over the last couple of weeks, up 15.6, 26.7. Yeah, that's over 40K. So I've lost the value there. We could have got him at 480K if we had got on at the right time. He's now coming up against Hawthorn, Brisbane, and Sydney, who are going to be much tougher matchups. And is he going to cop the James Jordan tag? Will they just bring Finn back like they did for, what was his name, for Finn Callahan? Spewing about that. That was just so random and destroyed the pick for me. Do they do something like that? I just don't know, Spills. At 523K, I suppose the best way to sum this up is will Track get really out of reach anytime soon? I know he's got a low break even, but I think that, I'm not expecting 130s too often on a really regular basis, because the other thing is, although the CBAs will go up, he's got a lot more on his shoulders now without big old Clary there. He's got to take the load, or, we might see Clary come back. I'm not too sure, but I just don't know. This one, Spillsy, I don't have a heap of faith. It's not a jealousy type thing that I don't own him. I would love him in my side, but I just don't know at the price. I'd almost gamble on him staying around here or being available here in another couple of weeks, or potentially even having a dip game and being around the 500 mark again. But yeah, just my thoughts there, mate. Anything else you want to add on Track before we go to Joshy D?
I sort of agree. Yeah, I think the only thing that's good is I tried looking, I couldn't find it, but I think I did see it somewhere. The CBAs have gone up for him in the last 2 weeks, so spending a little bit less time forward. Maybe that's got a bit to do with Clary. I'm not too sure. They've sort of chopped Harvey Langford for the time being, so they're still backing him in the middle. So hopefully that is sustainable enough. But yeah, I think it's just a bit of a low stress pick. I think he's a top 6 forward. Doesn't need to average more than 95 to be. He just needs to. Those 90 scores in that line are fine. I'm not going to look at a 91 from Petrarca and go, oh, yeah, like I'm pretty flat with that. He's in the forward line. If it was a mid only, different discussion.
That's fair.
So
Agreed,
I think just for where he's based and what we paid for him, I'm kind of happy to cop it because there's bigger fish to fry. There's worse players in my team that I kind of want to shaft, like your Chera Oliver types when the time comes, Caleb Daniel even. So, yeah, I'm happy with track for now. I think you can do a lot worse.
Oh, absolutely, you could, mate. Absolutely. You just really would have loved to get him in a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
Joshy Dacos, mate. So a potential value
Swordplay.
Yeah, well, there's a few that are looking at him, mate. Now, I'm not going to really go too much through the history because we've got to remember this is the first year he's been in this defensive role. But, you know, Freo 77, 133, 100 last time against Adelaide, only 59 last time against North. So I'm not going to look too far into his history. But what I'm going to do, mate, is I'll go from round 0 to round 8. He's been building. So it wasn't too bad at the start, just very consistent, but probably not enough for him to be a pick we'd consider. 95, 88, 84, and 91. So, look, he's going okay. The issue here was the 59 at the Adelaide Oval, and I don't really have much explanation for that, mate. But he's built into the role now. Last 3 weeks, 119, 106, and a 113. So, if he can average, what's that? It's over 105, so it's over the 110 mark. If he can average, 105 to 110, this is going to be a huge win at the price. He's a pod type pick. His buy may suit you, and this is team dependent. But based off those last 3 weeks, mate, I see a world where this could work. Coming up against Freo, Adelaide, North, Hawthorn, Melbourne, St Kilda, and West Coast, it seems like a pretty decent buy as well. So at the price there, Josh Dacos, 489,200 with a break even of 68. Only 3% of sides currently have him. Is there a world where you'd look at him if you're like we've talked about going value and looking for value? This is going the ultimate value, I think. And apart from Rowan, and Chad, he's the least expensive player on this list. Is there a world where you look to go in, mate, or do you feel strong ways either for or against?
I don't know if you've targeted all the other value around. I mean, Lockie Whitfield next week is a massive discussion. Who plays on a small deck this week? I think it's Geelong. So here's another one. Yeah. 140 break even. What else is there? And obviously Warner and Petrarca, those types. If you've already got both of those and you can bring in a pod, I think it's a case of just bringing in who you don't have and who's at a reasonable price. And this next bloke, Jordan Dawson, he's a massive advocate for that, like 521K. This is a good segue for Dawson. I can't give too much on Josh Dacos. But I really like Dawson. I mean, we've seen him he hasn't been too spectacular this year, but he's been solid. Like a 103 is okay, 124, 96, not bad. 124 is good. The 60 was the real mulligan. That was the big one. That was the Geelong game.
Yeah.
They shut him down completely. Had no influence. 113 and the 76 is like a bad Primo game. If you look at, if that's a 80, 85, you go, it's not too bad. That's like what Andy Brayshaw and Dacos has scored. But then the 156 to reset his break even at that price, I think he's a big talking point. I'm very inclined to bring him in this week. I don't know if I am going to, but he's one that I don't mind. He's a saucy price. So 74 break even, very possible that I just don't. What could he be? Can he be top 8 to 10 mid? Just so much value.
Yes, he can.
I reckon he can.
Yeah,
he just needs to hit the targets occasionally.
That's it. Everything
a little bit of luck.
Everything clicked this week finally. Like, if you look at his scoring accuracy, shocking after the first week. This week, the goals go through the big sticks, and it's amazing what actually happens to his score. He was known, and if you asked anyone just a few years ago, who's the best kick in the AFL, apart from my man Daniel Rich, Jordan Dawson was a man that just rolled off your tongue, wasn't he? That lovely left boot. It seems like it's abandoned him at times, and reasons, I'm not too sure. It'd have to be a real deep dive, I think, to really discuss that. But when things go well for Jordan Dawson, things go really well, and it's that ceiling that we love, Spills. It's that ceiling. We did see that floor type game, but we haven't seen that, and I don't think that we will see it too often. And also good to see him behind the ball at times. the CBA rate was not huge, but I don't think he needs it to be huge. So I'm a big fan of the Dawson pick myself. And I'll tell you what, Spills, just looking at his recent history, Port, Collingwood, and West Coast in his next 3, I can see 9 games here on the screen. His 2 lowest, 94 and 95. I can see 143, 149, 150, 158 in his recent history. And again, will that repeat? We're not saying it will. Could it? Absolutely. So I really like the Dawson pick, and I think his value. The issue is between someone like with really, you nailed it, Spills. We'll talk about Duncan in a sec, but with every one of the players we see here, apart from Rankin, I don't think they're must-haves. And I'll take Marshall out of the ruck because there's a clear pecking order there. But for each of these other guys here, could I see a world where they're top 6, top 8 in their line? Yes.
Yep.
But I don't think they're must-haves and guaranteed. But Joshy Dunkley, mate, we've talked about Dawson. Let's look. We've had 3 JDs here, and very quickly, I was telling you pre-pod, just a very quick story. I was out on the weekend at Max's footy, and a lovely bloke, forget his name, but shout out to your legend, come up and he's like, JD, how are you, mate? Love the Supercoach and all the rest. And they said, thank you very much, mate. Appreciate that. So you never take any offense getting mistaken for the great JD. Shout out to your legends. Hope your retirement is going well. He's killing it as well, JD. But the last JD, Josh Dunkley. I brought him in last week, Spills, because, again, looking at history, it was pretty scary against his upcoming 3. Look, didn't go nuclear or even above a 120 against the Suns, but it was solid citizen type stuff. And I think that's what you're going to get with Dunkley, mate. 521,400. We've seen the history of this bloke. We've seen him do it for years on end. And I think this is going to be close to where he bottoms out around this price. Playing North Melbourne this week, juicy, Spills. Very, very juicy, my friend. And I think this is where we may see another big ceiling game from him. So if you look at the break even, 97, you don't have to bring him in this week. We're not desperate. But is there a potential for him to go big against North? Yes. Get that lowest score out of his system. Have a nice 100 plus in his 2-week cycle. Then he could start to, I'm not going to say get out of hand, but the value won't be there like it is now. So, look, I like Dunkley. I think he's going to be a very solid selection, a safe as houses type selection if it was in the stock market. But what are your thoughts on Dunks, mate? 11% owned. Would you be happy to join the 11%? Or you're a little bit, got some concerns and thinking about our man Janath last year when he avoided Chocky, a little drive-by for you there, mate, and brought in Dunks?
Yeah, look, I don't know if I listen to too much Fancy Take TV or too much of Enno's take, but gee, it's a therapy session when they talk about Josh Dunkley. There's 2 blokes that they just can't copy scoring. Like, he's around the mark each week, but it's just not really. The floor isn't there. The ceiling isn't there. You kind of just going through the motions with this one. I'm happy to just ride this one out until the break even gets really dirty. And I go, oh, yeah, he wouldn't be a bad one. Just still like a John Dawson of this week. If Dunkley can hit form and pop a couple of 130 pluses in a row against North and then whoever he's got the following week, that's where I'll sort of consider him. But I haven't really seen it yet, so I can't really put too much faith and trust into the selection. So, yeah, he's pretty low on my list here. I'd probably have him like second last behind Rowan out of all these, or maybe even level with Josh Dacos, because I just don't know enough about it. But
level with Josh Dacos. Don't just slap Dunks around, Spills. Like, put some respect on his name, please, mate.
No, he's been unreal. It's not even Dunkley. It's more McCluggage, to be honest. It's more. I feel like the CBAs have. And the Ashcroft boys are really getting in on the action. The future's bright at Brisbane. I mean, your boys are just doing such great things, but it's got to affect someone. And it's a bit sad because it's got nothing to do with Dunkley. I still think Dunkley's top 3 contested midfielders in the game. I mean, the way he goes about it, he's just ultimate professional. He's elite. But the opportunity's drying up for him. It doesn't look like he's having that much of a sniff in the guts. And I probably could be proven wrong there with the numbers. That's where Janath will come in and go, oh, yeah, he's averaged this many CBAs here and there. But just from the eye test, I can purely see that Hugh McCluggage and the Ashcroft boys are really and they're not taking Neil out of there. So something's got to give. And I think, unfortunately, DR, it does look like it's Josh Dunkley. And it's not a bad impact on the pick. Like, he's still scoring well, but I think this, what's his average here? I'm looking. He's scoring like 90s, and So what is his average? I've actually lost it here. Is it?
All right. So
what's he averaging compared to last year?
Well, the season average currently is 111.1.
That's solid.
It's solid. That's what I mean. He's solid citizen. Solid is the word that you'd use to probably describe the Josh Dunkley pick.
Started really hot. Dry. Yeah, he's a bit dried up at the moment.
He's just safe to jump on. He's so safe to jump on. I reckon to bookend this, Spills, because I might have a few questions about this. Warner, Rankin, and Track are the three forwards. We can't rank Rowan and Josh Dacos. Only Ruck and only defender there. But I've got three forwards. My personal ranking would be Rankin, Warner, and then Track. Would you agree or disagree on that? This week, getting him in this week, I'm talking right now.
Rankin, Warner, and Track. I agree. I'm going to put Dawson ahead of Track, I reckon.
Oh, no, well, we'll get to the midfielders now.
Okay, so we're just on the forwards.
That was just the forwards.
Okay, yeah, so I agree. Yep.
Agree there?
Yeah, got it.
Forwards. You got Dawson ahead of Dunkley, obviously, based on what you're just going to say.
Yeah, I would. Yep, for sure.
All right. Then, last question. Best selection on the list. Best two selections. Give me two selections on the list. If you didn't have them, who are you getting in?
Rankin.
Yes.
And Warner.
Yes.
I'm going to say Warner. Yeah, just because of what he's got coming. Break even. Valuable forward. Yeah. That's what I reckon.
Beautiful, mate. We've got to an hour. I was hoping to I'm sorry, but it was a huge discussion. It was needed. Hopefully, be tell there for people as well, and may save us a bit of time in the mailbag anyway, because
I think it will
discuss so many relevant options here, mate. All right, this is going to go very, very quickly here. We're just looking at some pods, Spillsy. Now, Vern's our man that's just joined the Swordplay crew. Vern's is the man to talk to when you're looking for a good pod, but I've just got 4 names here, Spills. I was looking at the players in under 5% of sides, and really, these are the only 4 realistic options I think that you could look at. You've got Ed Richards there, 551,300 at 1.5%. And remember, this is overall. And one thing I was going to touch on before as well, when we're looking at the ownership rankings, I'll quickly just go back to that slide there where it says own percentage. That is overall. I always go straight to the top 5% personally, just to see what the best teams are doing and see what the trends are there. But back to this. Richards only 1.5% overall. Tukey Baby, a really underrated season, Spills. He has been super, super consistent, but just not hitting those ceiling games. But he's 554,400 with 2.3% ownership. Tom Green, a very popular pick from last couple of years. He sits at 551, so very, very similar price. $100 more than than Ed Richards, 2.8%. And then got John Newcomb. This is actually Rossco's man. If Rossco was on tonight, I'd get him to actually have a bit of a discussion about Jai, but 569,400, the most expensive bloke out of the lot. Is there anything you got to say about these pods? And again, for anyone new to the channel, pod point of difference, basically, no one really owns them. Anything you got for us here, Spills, on the pods?
I respect Jai Newcomb, and I respect him as a pod. I don't think he's top 10, but I like the pick. I think he's fine. Tom Green, just durability scares me a bit. I don't see the same sort of output. The Giants sort of struggling a bit. Tuke Miller, forward time's been up, still a midfielder only, so that concerns me. I think his mid-minutes actually have leveled out a little bit the last few weeks, but yeah, I was really looking at forward DPP. Ed Richards, big one. That's a great pod. I mean, 1.5%. Is that can't be right. There's no way that, because this is a bloke he's got a 109 average as we speak. We're talking about Dawson, and he's had a couple of floor games. Richards, 119, 105, 76 is similar to Dawson. Then you go 97, 113. 119, 93, 156. This bloke's a bloody beast. He's unreal. He's playing great footy. And Bond's back in the side. Still
That's
popped to
what I was going to say.
156.
You
Still
beat me
popped.
to it.
Gee,
You
what
beat
a...
me to it. Bond's been back for 3 weeks, hasn't he, Spills?
And Ed's playing... Well, he's averaging his highest numbers. His last month has been bigger than his first
Well, his
month.
3-rounder is 122.7. So it's safe to say, after 3 weeks' data, that Ed Richards has an average with Bont in the side, and one of those weeks also Trelaw, of 122.7 with a 5-rounder of 115.6. Remember, I was all over him, Spills, before he got that injury pre-season. He was my pod. I was all over him. And look, if you look at the season as a whole, he hasn't been an absolute knock it out of the park type pick. But if you've kept the faith this long, particularly and just gobbled up that 150 plus, you'd be really happy here, Spills. So, yeah, Eddie Richards, mate.
I kind of want to bring him in this week, to be honest. Like, if I'm looking at Dawson, who I can't afford. I don't know if I can actually afford Ed, but I'm actually flirting. I think the only real problem with this pick is the buy. And the buy sucks.
You're
the
reading
buy
your mind,
terrible.
Spills.
And we bringing in Butters and Bont. When are we doing that? I mean, they're both 700K allegedly, but when are we? Are you seriously going to bring in Ed Richards and then go, okay, I'm going to get Bont and Butters? A bit of a tongue twister there. Both start, a bit of alliteration.
Dr. Spills.
Yeah, I don't think you can really.
How's
your midfield look over that buy with Ed Richards in there? And if you want Bont and Butters, gee. And there's other picks as well.
I always say this, Spills, never go a pod just for the sake that they're a pod. Go the best player. We've just gone through, 8 or 9 fantastic options to bring in this week. And 5 of those blokes, 6 of those blokes, Kudakos actually, you could select in your midfield. So I just don't see a world where you'd be going these blokes ahead of the other ones. They've all got upside in their own way. But I just think
Ed, he's the only one. He's the only one that I would have in that.
The only one you touch. Yeah.
But it's the buy. And the buy
that's it. Shit. It hurts. It hurts, Spills. I reckon you gave a pretty good segue before. You asked the question, do we spend up on the big boys? Let's skip the pods, quick chat, and get to the 650K club, my brother. Now, what really hurts here is the fact that I only own 1 out of the 4.
Same, yeah.
You're the same. So a quarter of these blokes are currently residing in our teams. We've got Butters at 704,100.
I didn't know.
That's just absolutely crazy at this stage, mate. Averaging 135. We've got Bont at 693,500, averaging 143. Gawn at 687,400, averaging 130. We've already complained about him enough tonight. And then Andy B, who's our boy, sitting at 654K with an average of 124. So, Spilsy, there's a couple of ways we can go about this, mate. I suppose we could quickly touch on each one as an individual player. Maybe not a real deep dive into
I don't think we need to do that because everyone knows.
Mailbag
what
time.
You're going to get.
Yeah, but let's quickly let's go strategy. Like, how about a 2 to 3 minute strategy talk? Let's just do that. And the strategy talk, I think, needs to be around, A, do we need them? Are they all must-haves?
Do you pay for them?
What's the best way about getting them in? So my current school of thought, and it takes a lot of discipline, Spills, is to skip these blokes when they're 650 plus. They're just no-go zones for me, and I'm going to pick off your Warners, your Dawsons, your Track. Basically, go back to that previous slide that we had a couple of slides ago. That's my area, Spills. The 470s to the 525 types. That is my area at the moment. Trying to get rookies off field, fill the side with solid citizens. We called the Dunkley solid for now. And then wait and just pray and hope and cross the fingers and touch your lucky Heaney egg that you've left at your previous place, Spills, and just hope that these guys get under the mark at a fair and reasonable price. And fair and reasonable, I'll tell you what, these blokes get to 620. I may have probably the other 3 ahead of Brayshaw, just different category. I don't know why, if that's disrespectful, but
I agree. I would too.
You agree? Cool.
I think I do, yeah.
You got to jump on them at 620, don't you? That's that it's a godsend at 620. Spills, I'm getting a bit confuddled here, and I'm maybe going a bit of a tangent. So I'm going to try to ease my way back onto the straight road, get off the curves here, and go back to the major question. Is it still the right thing, in your opinion and in your eyes, to be avoiding these guys at the price and picking off the blokes that we've already discussed? Or do you say, do you know what? It could be a better strategy, because who knows what's happening with cash gen. We know that we pretty much need these guys in our sides at some stage to be competitive. If I've got the cash to get one or two of these blokes in, and even more of a bonus if I own one, let's just say, lots of Maxi Gawn and probably Andy B owners out there. So there's a bit of the competition, mate. They already own 50%. Could it be just a better strategy? You got cash in the bank, get them now. So you guarantee that you got these guys, and then you just wait and fall off the fallen primos as they go. Have I got this wrong, Spills? Should we be going the opposite way? Because the captaincy scores that these blokes are delivering and the anti-podding it's heartbreaking. What do you think, mate? Tell us about your strategy, because I'm all over the place, Spillsy. I'm all over the place, man. What am I doing?
I'm pretty settled with this one. I'm not quite as flustered. And I think the answer for it, I sound like a broken record. I'm kind of sick of repeating myself here, but what is the main purpose of Supercoach? It's value. And there is no value with any of these picks. And they will come down, and it is painful to watch.
Have to.
They will. 630, 620, that's value. That's when you go, okay, I'm happy to cop. My team's pretty established. They're coming on their bye. Let's really target them. And yeah, if you got to pay up a little bit, it is what it is. But 700K for Butters is just absurd. I mean, they're not 650 plus. They're just under 700, except Brayshaw. But Brayshaw's had his day. Brayshaw's just popped 87. So he shouldn't even be in this discussion, because in 2 or 3 weeks, he's going to be the man that you jump on. He's the one you snap up. But the other three, we're miles away from getting these guys in, because how can you possibly find the value and finish your side and bring all these guys in? There's only a certain amount of coin. And where does the money come from? Where's the coin come from? It comes from your rookies. It's a straightforward one, the mid prices. And I'll use my bench as a prime example, because I don't think mine's the best bench. I think Janath's is a lot better than mine, but I've seen benches way worse than mine. So I'm going to use my bench as, well, excuse the pun, the benchmark of benches, because I think it's a standard. Yes. I think it's a standard bench. I don't think my bench is bad, and I don't think it's good. So, well, I've got Stone.
It's not Nicky Del Santo. It's not Nicky Rewald. It's just somewhere in the middle.
Gee, you've been hot on that tonight, but
I shouldn't have gone back there. Why'd I go back? Yeah,
You've gone there, mate. But yeah, look, I've got Stone. I've got Buslinger. So these guys are borderline dead. They could bounce back. Who knows? I've got Kaka. I've got Gross. I've got Huswaite. And I've got Boyd, Cleary, and then Henderson is a bit of a loop. So
you're Henderson still, have you? Are you
Henderson's
still riding
loop? And yeah, so I've seen benches way worse. I won't name anyone, but I have. I've seen absolute shambles, particularly in the midfield with the cash gen. So if you pay up for these guys, where's your money coming from? It's such a sugar hit. And for every it's allude to what Abs says as well, because the great man's just got such great wisdom. But for every Ferrari is a spud. So you've got to have that. You've got to have that balance. And I think value, when you're paying such limited money for a Chad Warner, Petrarca, even Dawson, we spoke about them for such a long time because they make sense. Their value, and you save 150K there. That's a rookie. That's a rookie that's gone from price to So I don't know. And it's a hard watch, but I think in the long run, picking these guys now is going to hurt you. So stick it out. Wait for we say floor game. Wait for the 110 from Bond.
That is floor, isn't it? That is
wait for the 90 from Butters. Wait for the 90 from Gawn, because they happen. Look at Gawn's, as you just discussed, DR. Look at Gawn's first 2 or 3 weeks. People trade him out like 570K. Now he's nearly 700. So look,
they're begging for him, mate.
Yeah.
They're still in
It's a
love with
stock
the X.
market. It's a stock market deal. Grab them when the break even's low, and when it doesn't break your structure and your team value. Gee, I've been talking a bit of smack there, but that's just what I reckon. I think
I love it,
it's a
Spills.
value game, mate.
Love it.
It's a hard watch, but trust me, you'll be able to get him in eventually. So, yeah, that's what I reckon.
I was getting confuddled, mate. I was just seeing big stars with Butters and Gawns and Bonts in my side. It was like the bucket of water was just thrown over me. You've just given me a virtual slapping there, all the way there from the great town of Bendigo. Just slapped me through the screen and gone, DR, get yourself together, son. You're meant to be the veteran here.
Old-fashioned Supercoach spray.
It was a Supercoach spray for DR. It wasn't personal spills, but it was advice for the community, and I needed it. I needed it because I was going down that Hollywood path, mate, seeing the big stars with these guys' names there. But a slapping that I needed, get back to reality, back to your principles, and get back to the basics, DR, and the strategy you've been preaching. Thank you, Spills. That's all I have to say there. Thank you. Now we're going to try to help the rest of the community now, my brother, because it's that time. It is the mailbag. As I touched on before, we put a deadline this week, Spills, because look, we're already, I think, the recording looks different to me, but I think about an hour and 15 by now.
Yeah. And we have a lot of questions to get through.
50 on the knocker. 50 on the knocker.
Don't take it personally, because we are going to really hammer through these, and there'll be a lot of team dependent, but it'll be a lot of yes, no's, and because at the end of the day, we can't get to everybody. We can, but we can't give everyone the insight that they probably want that they would have gotten previous week. So this will be one of those ones. It's not a 30 question where you can have a look at your team, and it's going to be more of a yes or no. So we're going to really power through this, DR. So I'll leave it with you.
And what I did, great man, is rather than have to flick through Twitter and all the rest, and because remember, we did have the deadline there. We had to try to keep it as tight as possible. I have created some slides for the stocky just for this week. Now, another thing that I'll say, and Spills, this will take me 30 odd seconds, but I might as well do this now, so it saves me doing this during the mailbag. But much love to everyone. I usually say, "How you going?" All the rest. Hope the family's well. I hope that all of your families are well. Much love. This is feedback I've been getting. Maybe just ease off on all the love, DR. Get to the questions, son, because we can't be here till all hours of the morning. So, hello to everyone. Thank you for tuning in. You know what you mean to me.
We appreciate every
all of us. We do appreciate it. That's what I'm trying to say, Spills. We appreciate it.
Got to get rid of the waffle, though. We can't get personal.
Getting rid of the waffle. That's exactly right, Spills. Getting rid of the waffle. So, my friends, let's crack in. Jackie Boy. Now, I did start with this one, Spills, because Jackie Boy is a long-time listener, but it's his first time asking a question. So shout out to you, Jack. And what a time when we're absolutely turboing through it. So apologies, mate. Don't have Gawn, but I think I'm going to try to bridge that gap by going Marshall at flex. Hoping he goes within a 10 average of Gawn from here on out. Now, Jack, I hate to do this, mate, but I think I need to give a little bit of virtual slapping. Now, in the kindest way possible.
Stiffy's first ever mailbag, and you're going to give him a
it's shocking, I know. But just reality, I don't see a world, mate, where Rowan Marshall is going to get in a 10-point range of Gawn. I just don't see it, brother. I hope for those that go wrong that it happens, and this was said with much jest, mate. It's no slapping or anything, but I don't see it, mate. I don't see a world myself. Another quick question. How many dead rookies is too many to have? That's a really solid question, Spills. You just listed your dead rookies. Look, how many is too many to have? I think if you're looking at over 50% of your bench, it is scary. That would be my response.
I'm going to say.
You're going to say more than 3. Fair Spills.
Any more, I reckon, is a bit tough.
Yeah, it'd be hard to disagree with that, I think, mate. Yeah, look, I've got a couple at the moment, one included being Boyd. But, yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. Hunky-dory at the moment. Cheers, man. Frogger, hey, fellas. How are you, man? Some odd ones, maybe. Dale versus Luke. Ryan versus Runaway Screaming from both. I am a Runaway Screaming from both, mate. I looked at Ryan quickly before, and the issue for me is he's only had those 2 tons for the season. I've actually got him. Do I still up on the screen now? No, I don't. I've lost him now. But I was looking at that, mate, and only the 2 tons for me. I can't say yes to that. And the other issue is Clark obviously had a down game. I expect Clark to be the better scorer. I think that the mantle's been passed there. Spillsy, and very quickly, Bailey Dale. I really hope. So I'm trying to go head versus heart here. Heart says to me, like, please, please, please go well, Bailey Dale, because I'm an owner. But the head says, based off the inconsistency, it's going to be a roller coaster type pick. You'll get your good and you'll get your bad. It's a bit of a frustrating own from personal experience. So Spills, very quickly, mate, because I've probably said too much already. Dale, Ryan, or running away from both?
I'd go Dale over Ryan, but I don't like either of them personally. And with Caleb Daniel, I think you just hold him until he gets dropped, or you finish your team and you can flip him. So that's an easy one.
Agree, brother. Yep. And we will get a few questions on Dale, whether or not we hold or sell. We're both saying hold at the moment, so that we might save a bit of time there as well. The last one there, I think we've already touched on this one. Marshall, great price, but versus potential output, but difficult upcoming run. Awkward by thoughts. We've absolutely touched on Rowan there for you, Frogger. Here's a legend. Kata, how are you, mate? Hey, gents, with what seems Fletcher affecting Zorko's scoring lately and Kitty coming back soon, would you pass on bringing Zorko in now? This is a ripping question from a ripping bloke. We're no surprise here that he's got a great question, the great Kata.
Yep.
Spillsy, I suppose I have to take the lead here, don't I, being a Brisbane man? I wish I didn't and just pass this on to Benny or someone because I'm confused. I am confused. I was always of the opinion, I think we spoke a couple of weeks about this, where a similar question came up. I said, no. You know, we won a premiership without Kitty Coleman. We don't rely on Kitty. Zork is just going to continue to stay with his role. But I wasn't expecting Jasper to continue as much as he has. I thought he'd probably go back to a wing and spend a little bit more time there. However, with Kitty coming back, does he take Jasper's time rather than Zorko's time? Zorko's worked so well there. So do I think that he could potentially suffer? I'm actually, Spills, and I hate saying this, leaning more towards yes, because you touched on it, that Kitty killed it in the VFL and he took a heap of kick-ins. If Zorko loses those extra kick-ins and he doesn't make himself available as that first receiver more often than not, then we could be in a little bit of trouble. But in saying that, even at his current price, for what he can produce, all we need, Spills, is like if he gives you some 85s, but then gives you 150, like we know he can do, he can pull the magician out of the trick bag quite easily, then all of a sudden that average balances out quite well. So, look, yeah, there is potential for him to be affected. Would I pass on him? I would rather other players, but at the price, I still haven't lost hope, Kata, but I wish I could just get 1 week of data with Kitty playing in the side and we'd be able to give a much better assessment, wouldn't we? And you would too, mate, being able to watch it yourself. But my opinion, Spills, anything you quickly want to add, mate?
I think if you don't own him, don't trade him in. Don't look at him. Don't consider him. If you do own him, just hold him. Just wait until that happens, and then maybe a sideways buy flip if it comes down to that. Well, after you wait until you complete your side yet. I don't think he's that much of a liability, but yeah, it'd be one that you could luxury trade later on if it does affect him. But yeah, if you don't have him, don't. Yeah, grab a Sinclair or something. Grab Whitfield, anyone. It's
Sweet, Spillsy. Burners, well, he's already made some plans for next week, which is nice. So he's looking to get in Whitfield and a rookie for either Hall or Hewitt. But this week, Boxall and Sherry, so the two scooper, as we may refer to him from now on, mate, the big two scooper Sherry, maybe the flavour as well. Bice and Flynn, so your boys. So look, this is a really tough one for Bice and Flynn. It's so team dependent, man. It is so team dependent because
don't worry about the team, I reckon. Just worry about the trades. I'd say yes.
Okay. All right, this is
a fine trade. If Boxall's not sub and you've got like Huswaite already, I think this is a fine trade.
It could be Erasmus, though, let's just say. So let's just say Boxall, Erasmus. Like it could
be
a
anyone.
Couple of options there. You're right. All I'll say quickly, because we will get some questions on this. Let's just try to cover a little bit now, just a few seconds. Bice and Flynn on the sell aspect. I am more than happy for you to sell Bice or keep Bice. If you need cash somehow or you want to upgrade from him, go for it. At the same time, I think he's more than capable of achieving that break even. If you look at every score if you apart from his sub-affected score and the score last week, he's scored higher than his break-even. I've still got the faith you can keep on to him for a couple of weeks. Unfortunately, though, that rapid cash gen has halted. But as an on-field scorer, all good. Flynn, if named, I hold. Simple as that. If he's out, I'm likely trading. That's all I'll say on that. And hopefully that can cover a couple of questions as well, Spills. But yeah, I agree. Getting Brig Sherry in at this price with a break-even is extremely fair and reasonable, as you would like to say, mate. So
I think
yeah, tick that one off.
I'm leaning towards holding bias, but that could be. I could just have the bias goggles on because I'm pretty sure.
In an ideal world, yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm actually getting a tattoo of him. Like I know we joke about that, but
Are you going to?
I've been talking. Yeah.
All right.
I've been talking. I've got some things planned, so I reckon it's happening.
Let's agree to this now and make a deal. A gentleman's handshake virtual agreement. We'll have a handshake for the virtual slap this time. I promised Lise that if Brisbane won the grand final, that I'd get a tattoo, a Brisbane or a Fitzroy tattoo. So why don't we, my friend? Find a time. We're going to book in. I'm getting my symbol, whatever it is, Fitzroy, Brisbane related. You're going to get Bicey, and I may even do something Supercoach related as well. If it doesn't tickle too much, mate, if it isn't like a jackhammer going through the bone, because I am a slim sort of unit here, Spillsy. I'm worried about the jackhammer action.
Depends where you get it. I mean, it's just off topic, but like I've got one on my like pelvis area, like sort of just below my ribs, and they had to put numbing cream on that because I twitched so much because it was just a really sensitive area. But if you get it on like your leg or something like that, it just depends. Like if you get on your leg or like somewhere it's not as sensitive, like your arm and stuff, it's not too bad. But where I got mine was very sensitive, so I had to do it because I kept physically moving. So
it makes me sick.
Get it somewhere else because pain factors are different. You'll be right, but I reckon we do that. Yeah, I've got a guy up here in Bendigo that I'm looking at, and
you know a guy too. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so I've been messaging him on Insta, and he reckon I sent him a couple of photos of Bice, and then also the Miami Vice. And I said, "Oh, can you put Bice's head on this guy with a suit, have him holding a footy, and then have like Miami instead of Miami Vice, Miami Bice in that font?" And he goes, "Yeah, we'll see what we can do." So next week I'm going to go in and see him and talk about it, and it's not 100% confirmed yet, but yeah, it looks like we're leaning towards that. Bit of a tangent, DR. We've got to keep moving, but yeah.
Man, I know. 30 seconds a question, and we're talking about getting tattoos, mate.
I know.
All right.
Where's Janath? Need him. Needs to pull us a line, boys. We need to move on.
It's shocking, isn't it? But yeah, people know us by now, Spill, since 2021. Nath, shorten Nevitt to Sinclair and Erasmus / Boxall. Have to go early on defender. Sinclair, I want. Already have Haas. Absolutely. We're taking this one off, Spills.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yep. Although, all I'll say is I'd prefer to wait another week on Sinclair, but if you need to go early, one Sinclair, 100%, man. Ian, I love this name. I just love the name Ian, just old school.
Yeah, you do, don't
straight
you?
to the point. Ian, just bang, just a punt, just Ian. Line by line, if you could select any Primo from history to be in your Supercoach team, who would it be? 2014 Ablett Jr. would be mine, despite only playing 15 games. I am with you, jumping on your piggyback there, mate. There is no other answer for me. Spills? Oh, do you know what? And the only other thing I'll say, it reminds me of when I first started playing the game, John O'Brien. I got on John O'Brien, and him and Nick Rewalt were actually really good selections as key forwards when he was dominating. So, yeah, I'll go 2014 Ablett, and I don't know what year it was, Brown, but I'll go 20, whatever it was, John O'Brien. Spillsy?
A bit before my time, mate. I'm going to go 2016 and 17 Dangerfield, I reckon. He'd be the...
Great call.
He'd be my go.
That. You went different. I like that. Lots of respect for that. And thanks for the question, E. Good on you, mate. Engo, hey, man. Trade targets are Dunkley, Dawson, or Warner this week. If I trade in Warner, I'll have 7 forward Primos. Will that be okay to trade in a... Will that be okay? Or I trade in a midfielder? We did touch on it as well, Spills, a couple of times about Warner as that potential flex. Look, you certainly could do it.
Forwards have so much value. I think it's fine.
Yeah, fine. You're going that.
You probably end up flipping. I'm assuming he's calling Caleb Daniel a Primo, so you probably end up flipping him around the buys anyway. So,
I think and the other thing is, I don't want to say this, Spills, because I don't want to curse. No, that's right, mate. I don't want to curse old Engo here. He's a great man, but like how often does our whole squad, our whole line stay healthy from just say this point until the end of the season? So I don't want to curse injury on your forwards, man, but yeah, it's not a bad one having one in the bank, particularly that extra slot. Here's a legend, Jules, Crazy Frogs. Hey, brother. Hey, legends. 2 boosts left. I'm surprised you got 2 boosts, mate. I thought you would have just gone bang, bang, bang.
Aggressive operator.
My friend. Yeah. Lucky Rookie's on the bubble this week. Keen to keep them for later. 1 up, 1 down, enough to bring the Chad this week. Is it worth keeping boosts for the buy? Look, you certainly can, mate. I don't mind at all. 1 up, 1 down. You don't have to use the boost. The only thing I'll say is, depending on what your total is now, if you use 2 boosts in the buys, remember that's 8 trades in 2 weeks. Is that too much? Is it what you want? So up to you, mate. But 1 up, 1 down.
They're there to be used. I've got 4 still, but that's just because there've been no rookies. I'm going to abuse them now until the buys.
Go nuts, Spills. Just go the absolute hack on those boosts, man. Enjoy them.
To, yeah.
I'm
got saying one.
Nice. Me too. Robbie Cockerell. Hey, lads. Is it okay not to trade this week at all? So we've gone, isn't this interesting, Spills? In this shows where the diversity is around the comp and different coaches at the moment. Plenty of look in the boost, potentially me myself. Jules has just asked, is it okay for 1 up, 1 down? Robbie here, is it okay not to trade at all? Great question. My answer is yes. I don't think you have to trade. There are weeks where you can actually take a break. Because remember, sometimes we just double down for a week when we don't have a boost and just have to cop that, and your upgrade cadence just has to stall. It's almost the same as not trading if you've got some money in the bank / if you're not keen on any of the downgrade options. So, yeah. Agree, Spills? You don't have to trade.
No, you don't have to, but then again, it is good to upgrade. You could be one behind.
It's nice to, yeah.
If there's nothing there, then yeah, I'm not.
You should be, but you don't have
trade.
Yeah, fair, dude. All right, we're turboing through a little bit bad now, mate. All right, CR7. Hey, man, is Josh Dacos a top 8 defender? We've talked about this 3 times in a row. Great role. Yeah, talked about here, mate.
And he can be.
Yeah, well, one thing we didn't mention, which CR7's done himself here, mate. 8 kick-ins against Geelong. So, yeah, mate, if you think that he can, and do you know what? Top 8, could you cop top 10 at the price? Maybe-ish, but I think he's around the mark, mate. Chrissy boy, hey boys, living vicariously through all of you after some shocking luck. It will get better, mate. Loving everyone's success. Shows how great of a human you are, mate. Jack might have an actual crystal ball. He does. Spill said that.
I said it last week.
He spills onto it, mate. Like
he wins every year. He'll be top of the pod as long as we do this podcast. I mean,
100%, mate. Spillsy, it's pretty much the same question. I think we've touched on this. What's the verdict on bias? So we're saying if you can hold. Cash in will be halted a little bit, but if you need to trade, you can trade. Spillsy hates to say that as well as a biasy man as well. Yeah. Marty, please. What color is math? I didn't look over these questions. What color is maths, please? Maths is red, English is yellow, and science is green, please. Marty, you've got me. Do you know what's really funny, Spills? Yeah, look, it is rattling, but for some reason, I've always thought maths red. Even with my little visual timetables at school, maths has always been in red, the background. Why, I don't know. The difference for me there, Marty, is that English has always been blue for some reason.
No, I agree. Yeah, I'd go with that. Yeah.
Yeah, and science, I went purple for science myself, mate. So a bit of purple vibes, but yeah, I've got maths for red, absolutely. Bit of blue for English, please, would be my answer to that, mate. And Spills is just rattled sitting there going, Marty, what are you talking about? Shah, hey, legends. Hope you're going well. Cheers, man. Quick answers as I have 3. We're turboing through it, mate, so no offense if they are quick. You got no choice, unfortunately, mate. Would you go Marshall over Warner or the other way around? Warner over Marshall, Spillsy? Yes. Would you consider going SDK to Marshall and Flynn to Warner if Pito is named? Yes, if Pito is named, Spills. Yep. We're turbo. We're doing well. Thoughts on Josh Dacos? We've already done. Thank you very much, mate. That is an absolute turbo, Shah. Clayton. Now, Clayton, I met him at the Saners Lions games. Or was it? No, it was because I went to a few games lately, but a legend of a bloke. So just got the pick up there, mate. Got herself with Clayton. So shout out to you, brother.
Good stuff, man. Shout out.
Yeah, and said say g'day to Spillsy as well, mate. So, he's a great fan of the channel.
Man. Hope you're doing well.
Hope you're doing well this week. Will you guys be putting Brayshaw VC on Thursday? Thank you for your help. I am, Spills. Do you know if you are yet? I'm just going the early game. Get it out of the way, man.
I don't know. I
The
don't know.
stress, the lack of stress, just locking in Big Sherry last week, it was so good, Spills. And then when the Max Gawn news came through, the stress just came back. It's like, like this is shocking.
Yeah.
But I'm doing it. Do you know if you are? Yes or no? Or can't
I'm
answer
really,
yet?
I
Need to
can't
think.
answer. It's one or
Have
the
a think,
other.
mate. Yep, sweet dude. Cheers for that as well, mate. Ghost Bakes. Hey lads, thoughts on these options? 1 out. Levi, Sammy, Power Pepper, and Flynn, if dropped in brackets. In Huswaite, Dawson, and Dunks. I love. When I say I love it, I hate trading out Levi because I think he has a big week against the Roos. But that may be just I love the man. So yeah, I think that's okay myself. We'll have 120k in the bank to get Sinks next week. So I do like that you're planning ahead for that. I really like that. Or number 2 out, Kako, SPP, Flynn in, Huswaite, Dawson, Zorko. Thoughts? Oh, Spillsy.
Probably 1 if you're going to do it, but I'm not sold on Zorko. I don't know. I own him, but I think he can do better. I'd almost grab Whitfield, but
It's
even though
so
you probably
hard.
can't afford.
So it's Power Pepper and Flynn out in both of them. So the difference would be Ashcroft out, but you get Dunkley in. So Ashcroft out, Dunkley in, a line for a line. In the other trade, you're getting Kako out and Zorko in. That's tough, man.
I still
You
think the
probably
first one.
still have to
I
go the first one.
just don't know about
I've
Zorko.
lost. Yeah, I know. But wouldn't
Even
you?
I don't
Wouldn't you
even
be
give.
regretting it?
I think Josh Dacos is this where this comes in as a discussion what we were talking about before, but I reckon he could be like that cheeky.
Would you go him over Zorko? So if
I
you're
wouldn't not
Ghost
over
Bakes here,
Zorko, but
not
with the
over,
kitty
yeah.
stuff that's been happening, I mean,
It's that kitty stuff, isn't it? I'm an owner, so I haven't got the stress. I'm just riding him out regardless.
he hasn't been
right?
that good, Zorko. Like it's just solid. It's not really. It's a bit of Jordan Clark about it before he shut the bed on Friday night.
Yeah, we sort of. Yeah, we discussed it with
It's
Caddy's
just
question.
serviceable. It's not. There's no ceiling anymore. It's just like 90s and 100s every week. Like,
all right. Say goodbye to Levi though. Yeah. All right. I'll go
he's
one
got to
more.
go eventually. I don't know.
Yeah, you're right, mate. Taking too long a question. Number 1. A-Dogs, hey, lads. Sure, there'll be lots of questions around Primo trade-ins. Apps already have the 6 highly owned Primo forwards. Marek, and I'm unsure whether to also grab Chad or look at a Lions mid. So if you've already got the 6 highly owned Primo forwards plus Marich, we had an answer. We had a question. Spills is all right to run with 7, which is pretty much what A-Dogs has here. I'm actually going to say it's overkill with 8. Would you agree it's overkill with 8? Just focus on getting a midfielder in now, or not? Or are you saying 8's okay? Like what's your thoughts?
I don't know. I reckon.
Lions mid. I'd go Dunkley. Like I would.
I don't think
But
it's
not
overkill because
Chad.
I reckon you end up trading Daniel and Marek later on. I don't think they're keepers. I reckon
It must be
I
Daniel.
think they could be, but
Highly owned. It's Daniel. It's Daniel.
I'd rather have Chad there
Hang
instead
on.
of
Yes,
Daniel.
Bills. I'll put the team here, man. This is the team here, dude.
Yeah,
So he's got.
I'm looking at it right now.
Sorry, yeah, I would do. I was, yeah. That's how well I'm going.
Yeah, so I reckon you can get Chad in, and then when the time comes, turn Daniel into a mid, and then turn Marek into a mid or a defender, and then at least you can run with it temporary.
Fair and reasonable.
I don't hate it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't go more than 8 though. That's pretty radical, but it's short term. You're not gonna have 8 for the rest of the year. You can cash out Marek and Daniel when it's time.
Yeah. Yep. All right. Number 1 for me, mate.
Yeah.
Anthony, would you rather trade? Oh, sorry. Would you trade Caleb Daniel for Warner? I wouldn't.
I wouldn't, bro. I'm inclined to. Like, I don't think it's the worst shout, but I wouldn't do it.
Agree, Spill. Not the worst shout. Excuse me, but wouldn't do it myself. All right, Sammy, thoughts on Zorko at 500k? Yep, already talked about that, mate. Considering Moraes, SBP, Shearer to Dawson, Dunkley, Zorko. Oh, sorry, Dawson or Dunkley, Zorko, Huswaite is a waste for trade, trading out Shearer. Look, it's not necessarily a waste of a trade if you believe that those guys are all going to be really, really great picks in the line. But I'd rather hold him if possible. Spills, anything to add, mate?
No, I agree. Yeah, I'm holding.
Beautiful. Logs, hey lads, thinking Flynn and Stone out. That's fine if Flynn is dropped. Will rather be Rowan and Fonty in or Erasmus and Chad, I think. What do you fellas lean? Well, we haven't really talked about rookies here, Spills, and the cupboard's bare, mate. Do you know much about Fonty from
He looked good. No,
GWS? Yeah, tell us what you think, mate.
Yeah, Johnny Fonty looks like he's sort of come in for Stone. So it's a bit of a like for like. If you have Stone, you can go to Fonty. So it's like, yeah, you think one of them will play at least. So he looked good. He looked very comfortable at level. Popped just from memory, I think it was a 77, 160K. Bit elevated. One I'm looking at next
That's
week.
tricky.
I like him though.
Early. Like
I don't hate it.
Early on 160K with the guy I've never heard of before.
I think he's fine. He looks good.
Desperate times, desperate measures may be made, isn't it? Really?
Yeah.
All right. Well, there you go, mate. Well, very quickly, Rowan and Fonty or Erasmus and Chad. I'll go Erasmus and Chad. Yep, sweet. All good, man. Supercoach Bull, hey, buddy. Thoughts on Shearer being traded out this week? Janath made a great point in last week's poddy round, using players like Oliver Shearer Flynn as stepping stones to your real Uber premiums, the blokes that we saw on that 650K plus side. And yeah, this is what I've been battling with what the Bulls talking about here all week, Spills. Feels like with a 131 break even and an increase of 50K, maybe his time is now. This is exactly what I'm grappling with, because it's so hard. I'm like playing the Saints this week. This is what I'm thinking, Bull, anyway. And I keep changing my mind because I think to myself, do you know what? I could just go so easy this week, save the boosts, save them to go early on rookies. I could just straight go Shearer to Warner. I don't think Shearer is going to be a midfield keeper. I think Warner will be. One trade, nice and easy, not stuffing around going early with the Boxshells, with the Fonties, with all these guys, with the Rasmuses that I've got no idea what's going to happen with. But then I think to myself, oh, geez, do I keep him? Knowing that he's been super consistent, would I be surprised to see him go 110 against St Kilda? Not at all. And just hold him until the bye and just keep getting the rookies off field and focus on getting rid of your Power Peppers, your Flynns, instead of your Shearers. I keep on flipping, mate. At the moment, I'm almost willing to keep the points on field until the buys and risk losing 20 to 30K, but hope that he can just get back to that consistent 100 to 105 type. Bit of a little rant there, but that's the way that I feel about the pick. I don't know if I've even given anything there, Bull. Spills, please help. And sorry,
I'm going to trade him.
Oh, you are. Hang on. Just before you do say that, sorry. I did put a poll out on Twitter. Last time I looked, there were about 500 responses. Is Shearer a trade out? 70% were yes, Spills. 70% were no, not a trade out. 30% were yes, but lots of the comments, and they were great comments. I should have actually, we don't have time now. I may even do a separate video, Spillsy. They were that good on whether or not to trade out Shearer. It was very team dependent, but 70% were withhold, 30 trade. You're in a 30% here, mate. Tell us why. And we are going a little bit over with this question, but it's a very relevant question for
It'll
a lot of
answer a lot more questions further down the podcast.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, so, let's do the hard yards now for the Bull, mate, because he deserves it.
Yeah, well, break even's like high, 130 is a high. So yeah, I'm not planning on keeping him for the rest of the year. And my rookies aren't too good. I want to maximize my cash gen. I got burnt with Zach Reed last week, and who else burnt me as well? Someone else that sort of I went a bit early on. I can't remember, but I want to, when they peak, I want to take the money and run. And with all the options this week, Dunkley, Dawson, Chad, Petrarca, I think it's the perfect week to grab a discounted Primo and someone that's definitely top of their line. So I'm trading him. I think the difference between he and Oliver is Oliver hasn't stuffed up his break even. His break even is sort of his projected. So you can bank on him hovering around that price. Where 500K for Chera, that's a lot of money. That's good money. I mean, it could be a matter of 2 or 3 weeks and he's down to 460 and you go, gee, I wish I just, took the money and ran him. Yeah, he's definitely not a top 8 mid. I wouldn't want him. I definitely want to buy flip him. So while he's at his peak, yeah, I'm looking to trade just because the only reason why I just like the other options around him. are about, looking about 20 or 30K more expensive, but blokes I can see being genuine keepers. That's the only. If there's any other week, I'd probably say no. He's got St Kilda. He'll score well, you'd think. But for me, very team dependent. But yeah, I'm looking at trading. It's just me.
Do you know what? And just looking ahead to this trade that A's put here, Sherry's out, Dawson's in. I think the difference in average between these blokes is around 5 to 6 points. Before this week, it would have been bloody similar, Spills. Like, really similar. Like, how confident are we? I'm looking at the break, like the average air for Chera. It's 100.8. We're trading out like a guy's averaging 100. The issue here is, you're right, the 280s in the system.
The 3-round average is bad.
And he's going to have to get a season high. I think his season high is 117. So it would have to be 17 points on top of that just to hit the break even. So I definitely get your school of thought, Spills. And I've been there literally 50% of the time this week, man. And I keep swapping and, like, at the end we would do our trade. So we've got that little box. I could have filled 4 boxes with potential trades this week, and some of them with Shearer, some not. It was a worthy discussion, Spillsy. We're sort of on other ends in a slight way, but I could absolutely join you. And the points you raised were
just depending on what your situation is. Mine is, I like these value picks, and I want to capitalize now while they're cheap.
Yeah,
so I think they're going to be top of their line, and I don't think Cherry is. So why he's in the 500K mark? Because I think he'll be cheap. he could be mid 400s in a few weeks.
Yeah, man.
There's 50K. That's a lot of money in the long run. So I don't know. Risky. I think he can make you pay for that, just like Zach Reed did. That's Supercoach. That's the risk you take, and I'm happy to.
The game we play, my friend. The game we play.
I'm gonna bank it.
Chrissy boy, would you upgrade Meek Moraes, to go on Boxall over upgrading D5, D6? Look, it's very tempting, but we're continuing to say what we've preached, mate. Try to get your rookies off field. Hey lads, thoughts on these trades? Really want 3 of them this week. Now, I did ask for some context. This was a very early question. He's just got Sherry at the moment. So he hasn't got Gawn, just got Sherry, but he's looking to get TDK out for Rowan Marshall. So personally, Spills, it's so tempting. Like, I could see all these 3. I'm going to say no.
It's radical.
I'm going to say no. I will say yes if Pito's named. So if Pito's named, I'll tick this off. If not, I just think that trading TDK for Marshall, like, you're making a bit of coin, but do they?
So sidewaysy.
It is, but you're making coin. Yeah, I'm so 50-50 on it. I've had a bit to think about, and I still can't work it out. I'm going to stick to my gut and say no. But please don't hate me, if you take that advice and it, like, these guys pop off, because I could see it happening. It's a tough question. Sorry, buddy. I wish I could do more. Spills, yes or no? Quick yes or no.
I like the trade. I just don't like TDK to Rowan. Don't think that's worth a boost.
All right. Yeah, and that's boosting as well. All right, man. Lobsters, turbo through. This is a team here on the right here. Hey, guys, Flynn and Hendo for Romo and Rookie. I'll be happy to do that. Or Flynn and SBP for Sherry and Rookie. Yes, I'd much rather do that. I'd much rather just get Sherry in over Romo myself. He likes Romo, Sherry, top 2. Yeah, mate. Tick that off. Sherry. Jared, purely for so Jared's first one here. Spillsy, didn't want to take the credit, so I'm thanking DR for steering me into our Lord and Savior, Mr. Bailey Dale. Can't think of a better D6. Well done, Jazza. DR the GOAT. You are too kind there, mate. I was so frustrated with Dale and just wanted to kiss the man. Wanted to do the opposite of a Willy Rioli.
Was this the bloke that last week accused me of selling Bailey Dale? Or is this different guy?
Oh, I'm not too sure.
It could be the same guy
I did yesterday, but
I can't remember.
Either way, he's a great man, Jared. I can tell you that much, mate. If Flynn's name's Solo Ruck, thoughts on Flynn's R2 and flipping TDK to Zeret Anderson Huey. TDK fixes him around 12 by purely a cash flow play, then Flynn to Gawn or back to TDK after the buys. I think, Jazza, if you're asking like TDK out and then flipping back to him, I wouldn't do it, mate. I don't think. Spills, do you feel the same way, mate? Too
Yeah,
much
I
sort
wouldn't
of
do that.
mucking around for your
Yeah.
liking? Yeah. Look, I love the way that you're thinking outside the box, mate. You got to think differently. Probably wouldn't tick it off, though, at this stage, buddy. Rancy, g'day, lads. I know you jumped on last week. Was wondering if you think it's worth doing a sideways from Sherry to Dunkley. It's seriously whatever floats your boat in these situations. You're ticking this off, are you, Spills? Because you're saying that Sherry's done. I'm not. I'm not. But
I don't know. I don't know if I'd go Dunkley. I'd rather
I'm seriously
Dawson.
considering going Shearer to Warner myself. I only want to use one trade. I just see, okay, so the difference I'll say between Warner and Dunkley is I see Warner as a top 6 forward. Dunkley, not locked to be top 8 type thing. So that's the difference there. That's why I would stick with Shearer myself. What are you doing, man? You saying yes or no to this?
I think it's fine. At least Dunkley.
You're saying yes.
At least,
all right.
At least Dunkley, you persisting with him as probably a keeper. Where Chera, you know, he's a stepping stone. He's going to try him out and he's buy anyway. So
yeah, true that, mate.
All
right, Jonty, ranked 50 spots out of the top 1K. Nice, man. Trades locked in. Kakadu Erasmus / Boxall, Flint to Warner. Love that. Question is, enough dollars to boost TDK to Sherry? Gawn already given me that 1 and 2 as a waste or a boost.
I actually do that. I mean, if he's got Gawn and wait, what's that? Yeah, if he's already got Gawn, I'd have Cherry over TDK.
It's against my strategy, but I would tick that off too, just because I reckon Sherry and Gawn, it's a deadly combo, Spills, isn't it? I'm ticking it off, which goes against my.
I'm actually going to say yes to that. Yeah.
Yep, but me too. Well, we're both on the same page here, mate. It looks really good, doesn't it? Mitch, Warner for Dunkley this week. Warner or Dunkley this week. I'm saying Warner. What are you saying, mate?
Warner.
Yeah. Daz, how are you, legend? 2025 team, you're a bold experiment which has failed miserably by virtue of players. Sanders, Perriman, Garcia, Freya, Humpty, Daz, Clary, and also those still falling Holmes, Short, Sarong, and Flynn. Daz, I feel for you, man, because you are such a good coach and even better bloke. 2026 planning commencing, new rules strategy, must have players. Yeah, I know that there's been a bit of talk about that, Daz. Don't give up, brother. You will come back. Every one of those players there that you're short. Oh, okay. Sarong and Holmes could come back, Daz. I'm trying to stay positive here for you, brother, but much love, mate. Brucey, baby. Brucey. Best Fallen Premium. Dunkley, Dawson, Sinclair, Warner, Track. We rated these guys already. Spills. This week, for me, is Warner.
I rub Sinclair out for this week and his next week's pod for my liking.
Agree, mate. Abs, crack the top 200. Well done, son. Awesome, man, which makes me want to take a more aggressive approach this week. Going sick of Jaden Short. What do you think of this? Would leave you with one boost left for Dacos in a fortnight. Out. Flynn, Pryor, Short. No keepers there, Spills. In. Warner, Sinclair, Erasmus, Rook.
Done.
Look, you like it?
I kind of like that, yeah. I know Sinclair's like we touched on him, he's not presenting too much value, but I think he's fine. I'm assuming he's already got like a Whitfield or something like that, or a Zorko. So yeah. If you can afford that and cop a 20K decrease in Sinclair, I'm getting that done. I mean, you rank 200. You're probably in a great spot. So.
Yeah, and Short's scoring like a rookie, isn't he? Anyway, mate. Like Reed is way out scoring.
Get that done. Yeah, I'd
get it done. Yeah, get it done, Abs, and be aggressive, mate. Congrats on the rank, man. Mav, I'm going to send this one straight to you, Spills. Thoughts on going Rao, your favourite friend, with a 180 break even to Brayshaw, Dacos, or Butters? Mav's just going, look, Rao, get out of him.
Oh, deja vu. I feel like I've seen this show before, DR. I don't know.
What was a handball to you, mate?
Just starting like a house on fire. Oh my god, fool's gold if I've ever seen it.
We've seen this movie before.
Hasn't Matty Boy? It was the same game, DR. I bought him in for last year. It was like the Brisbane game. It's going to be Dewey. It's going to be contested. He's going to do nothing. He's done nothing again. This is fool's gold. Yeah, Matty Rao, fake Primo, all over. never getting sucked in. So he's a good player, but yeah, he hurt me last year, so I can't really be sympathetic here. I'm gonna give it to him. He deserves it.
Slap. See you later, Matty Real then. Oh, he's a
How many
great
more
man.
we got? DR. We're nearly at 2 hours.
All right, Spills. Hang on. Let me quickly. You look over the questions here for a sec, so you can get some. Just look at what your answers may be. I'm going to go just out of this for a sec, just from my end to the to the slides here, mate. Where are we? So we're with Rain Man here. Let me check Spills because we must be getting close. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm not shitting you, Spills. We have 8 slides more to go.
All right. So what?
I'm not even like.
You promised to answer all of these questions. What do you think we do? Do you reckon we go through them, all of them, or?
Do you mind, Spills? Do you mind? What we might do? I'm going to basically revise over the question very quickly. If you have anything to add, please do. But I'll just try to turbo and take care of it, mate. I don't want to be rude and just take over the mailbag, but that might be the easiest way, mate. You just jump in when you feel like you need to, mate. If you've got a thought. Does that sound cool, dude?
No, you're right, man. I do need to go to the bathroom anyway, so just carry on and I'll come back.
All right,
and
sweet, man.
in.
All right,
man.
Rain Man. Would you advocate trading Bice and Pryor 1 up, 1 down, or look at moving on Flynn and a dead Rook? Campo already have Huss. Yeah, well, I'm the same with mate. Really want to get those rooks off field. I wouldn't advocate trading Bice. Can you? Yes. And would I have big problems with it? No. But would I rather hold? Yes. For 1 up, 1 down, or Flynn and a dead Rook. I am going. Look at moving Flynn and a dead Rook. Pryor, I wouldn't mind getting rid of. Look, it depends on if Flynn's named, mate. If Flynn is named, keep Flynn is what I'd do, mate. Sorry, I can't go into more detail, brother. The legends keep coming. Silvertop Hurley, hey, mate. Sure, Kevin, this Rusty secondaries. Huswaite, maybe Erasmus, even Bustlinger this week, then possibly Box, Lorenz, and Fonty next week. May have Huss, but if you can only get 2 of the others, which 2 would you go over the 2 weeks? Oh, it's so tough, mate. There's so much guesswork here. All right, well, Bus has already been sub, so probably not. Look, if Erasmus is named with Noddy and he's not sub, I'm going Erasmus. Fonty would probably be the other selection I would go with, just because he's looked pretty good, came in for Stone, and just looks like a solid citizen. So, though the price puts me off a little bit. So I'm going Fonty and, if named, Erasmus. And then I'd be looking at your Boxall and possibly the Wrens, mate. But it's very much team dependent. And I'm not the best person to ask, mate. But Stocky will be out where I have more detailed notes for you, mate. But, yeah, it's bloody tough, isn't it, Hurls? Jimmy, hey, man. Love your work, lads. Thanks, mate. General advice for putting aside personal pride and cutting losses with failed mid-prices. Cutting losses. Yeah, look, mate, there's a point in time where you do need to say goodbye. We talked about the LDU example with Janath last year where he kept the faith, he held, and it worked out. But it's not always a happy ending like that. There is a point where you just have to say goodbye. And if it's not working, it's not working. So if you had any particular examples, mate, may be able to help you. But, yeah, you can. This is different advice. But I remember when I didn't start Errol in that massive year that he had, I said, no, I'm not going to do it. Literally 1 game into the season, the week after, I bit the bullet. I swallowed my pride and I traded him in. I said, you know what? Put my hand up. I got it wrong. All I can do is fix a mistake. So, yeah, it's tough, mate, but yeah, don't be afraid to do it, mate. Much difference in Zorko, Holmesdale, and Clark in defense? No, I really don't think that there is, mate. I think that Dale has a massive ceiling went on, but probably the lowest floor. Holmes is, yeah, very much up, down type pattern. Zorko, massive ceiling. I'd probably say Clark is the best selection there, purely because of consistency. I know that last week was a real floor game. I'll be shocked if you saw a floor like that as well. Thanks as always, no probs, mate. Swadsy, how are you, legend? Hey, fellas, got a few targets this week. Out Bice, Levi Flynn in. Romo Huswaite. Yeah, that's okay. And either Clug, Ando, Witt, Sink, or Josh Dacos. Well, I'll tell you what, mate. Taking price and break even and everything out of consideration, Whitfield is the pick that you want. Sinclair's the other one that I would probably have next, just because I'm so confident they're going to be top defenders. Clug, great. Ando, great. They could average the same. Yeah, I just don't know where to peg them for the averages. So, yeah, I'd be going in your Whitfield or Sinclair, mate. Or if you really want to go budget, if price is an issue, Dacos is fine as well, mate. Battlers, if all three are named, do we look at a double downgrade to Bus, Huswaite, Erasmus, Banks and Guarantee, Cash Gen? Erasmus, I suppose, is on the bubble, but if not, he's not named. I'd be really worried about that. Bus, he's already been the sub. I'm not a huge fan of. And Huswaite, yes, we go there. So probably the answer is no from my end for that, mate. Supercoach, like, hey, legend, you have a slide all to yourself here, mate. I made sure I fit on for you, brother. Much love to you. Hey, guys, love your work as always. Would you trade out Bice to Boxall? If his names, I don't love that. But if you need cash, mate, yeah. Move Sheasel back to defense. If it means I can get Flynn to Sherry, yes. I don't mind that, actually, mate, if you're getting Flynn to Sherry. Or if not, Boxall, if there's a chance that Erasmus comes back with Hayden Young injury, yes. So talked about that, mate. Yep, I'd be happy to tick that off, mate. Don't even really need to take a big look at your side here, mate, because all good for me. And I do need to quickly go through this. Any donations to the channel, and there have been some great donations. I don't want to say names, but, you know, guys in particular, like your Yaron, your Cheese, and your Muzzes, and these guys. I don't want to say names because there's many others than that, but a few just come to mind straight away that are just regular donators to the channel. Any donations this year, whether it's through a live or through a super thanks with these or stock markets, whatever it is, all that money goes towards a bat for Jack, a great young man, a wonderful young human that I used to teach all the way back in prep. Still catch up with him regularly now. Super footy player, great cricketer, plays lots of representative cricket, really wants to make it somewhere one day, hopefully represent the country when it comes to his cricket. Great wicket keeper, super batsman, but we are raising money to get him not just a good bat, not a great bat, but the best bat that you can get. Had a bit of a tough life at stages as well, Jack. So we want to reward him and give him something special. So shout out to you, Jack. Love you, mate. Luca, hey lads, just wanted your thoughts on the following trades. I've gone hard with my boost. This has been my last boost. Is worth getting Warner in for Bice, my flex spot. Move to the forwards if Daniel's in a keeper. Okay, Bice, Pepper for Flynn out. Sinclair, Huswaite, Warner in. Yeah, I'd tick that off, mate. Look, none of these blokes are going to be keepers. Two of these blokes will be hopefully around the top of their line. Huswaite, you got to get in. Yeah, I'm going to say yes for that. And all the best, Luca. Causa, the ladies, man. Black Leech, hey, legends. Thoughts on this plan? What's your plan, Causa? Trying to fix round 12 by round 9. Merritt, Track, and Boxall. 44K in the bank for Sheriff, Flynn, and Kako. Merritt's a massive in. Track, Boxall, Sheriff, Flynn, Kako. Yes, Causa. Round 10. Bice, Pryor, and Campo for Fonte, Lorenz, and a premium. Well, yes, absolutely. And I love the way you're planning ahead there, Causa. The only issue is, my friend, I couldn't tell you. I don't think many super coaches out there, even the best people out there, could. We couldn't tell you if Fonte and Lorenz are going to be there in round 10. If we could use our crystal ball and say they will be, yes, love it, Causa. All the best luck, ladies, man. Much love, man. Mikael, g'day, lads. Planning to hold rookies like Pryor, Kako, Ashcroft as downgrade options are uncertainty. Trading options this week. Yep, like that thought, mate. 1, SPP to Warner, and hopefully he's playing. That is great. 2, SPP, Flynn, and Shearer. So, geez, you're either going just a little dabble or you're going hard. To Bont, Warner, and a rookie. Geez, you're getting Warner and Bont in. SPP, Flynn, sort of nobodies, or not nobodies, bad disrespect to the board, man. Sorry. Shearer. Oh, it's hard. I'm going to say SPP to Warner, mate. Although, Bont, rookie. But they're saying, and a rookie. I don't think there's any good rookies unless you got Haas. I'm going to go number 1, mate. It's tough. Hope it's the right advice. Sorry if it's not, man. Deal, away, man. Can't have 25 trades with 3 boosts in hand. Very nice. Gents, Lindsay to Dale or Flynn to Romo Warner. Oh, does it have to be the Dale? Does it have to be the Dale? You've also got another trade here. Lindsay, Hall, Henderson, Boxall, Erasmus, Dale. Oh, look, I'll be honest, man. I do not like boosting for Dale, Erasmus, and Boxall, mate. I don't like that myself because they're two speculative rookies and a really speculative premium. If you're boosting at this stage, mate, you got to be getting in blokes that you are really confident on. And I'm just not confident on those 2 rookies. But if you believe in these 2 rookies and you think there's some good stuff available for you next week, then go for it, mate. But I would go Flint or Warner, if anything there, buddy. All the best, Deal. Kuren Doe, man. Hey, lads. Which option would you take here? I've included a full list of my team, dark mode if you don't mind, to help out as cash gen on my mid-bench is stuffed. We'll swing Shees to defense after trading Pryor. Trading out 1, Pryor and Flynn to Huswaite and Warner. I like 2, Pryor and Flynn to Huswaite and Sherry. Is it points or value that you're after here, mate? Points or value? So Sherry and Iraq. Oh, sorry. So no, that'll be flex. Meek, TDK, Sherry. Or you'll have Warner. Midfield. You still got Power Pepper.
I'm back, by the way, DR. I think
Spillsy.
Cherry's
Sherry.
probably must have. Particularly, you got Meek there. He's a problem.
Cherry on top.
Yeah.
I agree, Spills. Cherry, mate. We must be getting. I've got through a few slides. Spills,
I
just
took off, mate. Just did a couple of things before work. Let you go about your business. You're doing a great job.
Nice, mate. Nice.
Questions. So good to be back.
Must
be getting the back end of it now.
We definitely are, mate. Tick of approval for Big Fella. We've got Flynn and Sam Powell, Pepper 2, Huswaite and Sherry. Yeah. Beautiful. Boom, bang. Thumbs up for me, mate. Tick of approval for sure. Davo, hey, gentlemen. Are these trades silly? Never say that, Davo, unless it involves peanut laddums. Sick of going with the pack and want to attempt to make up some good ground as ranked 20k. Naz, Rowan, and Warner. So a bit of a St Kilda feel or theme there. Bice, TDK, Flynn.
I just can't vibe with TDK to Marshall. I don't know why.
I don't vibe with that.
It's not a bad trade, but I secretly hate it. But it's fine. I don't know why. I think it's personal. Don't listen to my take. That's just what I think. But I just don't think I would do it. I think there's so many other problems.
Let's actually answer the question. The question are these trades silly? And with context, he doesn't want to go with the pack. So I'm not going to call those trades silly trades. And if you want to go away from the pack, that's going away from the pack.
No, I back it in. You mean
would I do it? No.
The reason I like it, though, like I touched on glass half empty, glass half full. The reason I like it is that I guess the value that he gets from going TDK down to Rowan allows him to get Nass and Warner, who are definitely top of their line. So what it gets you, I think it's fine. But personally, I don't know if it's not silly at all, mate. These are fine trades, but just personal preference. I don't know if I would do it, but I think it's fine.
Nice, man. Barnaby, hey, guys. Marshall talked about this, mate, but thank you for this info. We'll just read this out loud. Remember a guy who ended last year going 107, 123, 135, 126, 126, 146, 120, and this time is only 471k. Great points you raised, mate. Maybe we've been a little bit too dismissive of Rowan. That there's definitely a world, and we both agree that this could work. But when comparing him to other options, we have him down the list a little bit. And shout out to Relton Roberts. Good on you, mate. Spillsy, I'm pretty sure this could be the last one. Two team-dependent ones. We've got Krez and Sammy Roberts. Krez is on the left here, where it's like sort of going onto the team there. Sammy on the other one. Just brought in Nazaya, but have enough money for Whitfield. This is a team structure. Should we grab Whitfield instead, or is there someone else who is a must-get this week?
Wait for Whitfield next week. 140 break even. He's got. Is it Geelong this week, Dao? Is this the one?
It is at GMHB Hey,
Terrible venue.
not great.
Go Nas, my man.
Nas, yep. But Whitfield, I think he's going to be must-have defender at
Next
some
week.
stage.
It opens up for him. George just discussed it on Fantasy Take, but it does open up the fixture next week.
Nice.
This is the last bad one he's got for a while. So next week, yeah, plan for him. Make sure you bring him in next week.
Beautiful, mate. Sammy Roberts, hey lads, really stumped with what to do here, like all of us are this week, Sammy. 23 trades, 2 boosts, 26K in the bank, rank 8.5K, which is really solid, man. Oh, what moves would you do with this side? So, look, we don't know. I suppose we do. How much money you got in the bank, mate? Spills, there is no real downgrade options at the moment, is there, mate? In this case, is this a case here where he's got Huswaite? There's not a heap of money on Nevitt's head. Campo's pretty much dead. Kako, not much money. Cleary, got to wait on. Sard, geez, there's not much. Do you just go a Shearer for a Warner type and just lock in
or
someone
Dawson
like that?
even if you've got a boost, and then maybe go Flynn down. So if you want to go Flynn down a Boxall, maybe you could probably field Huswaite, and then you could get Lindsay or something up to anyone. I don't know.
Yeah,
it's a good week to boost. I think this is a really good boost week.
I like the boost if it's 2 up. I don't like the 2 boosts.
That's what I mean. But the value, like, look at all the discounted mids, and then you got like Chad and Track in the forward line. It's time to load up. Like, this is a good week to go. And I think Chera brings us back to the point where Chera's got that high break even. He ain't keeping his line. It's kind of like you are breaking even. You are bringing in someone that is going to be top of their line. Whether it's Warner, whether it's Dawson or Dunkley, they're probably bottom of the mid, but still a lot higher than Chera will be. If you go Chera down to Warner, I don't mind that at all. I mean,
last thing I'll say, would you even have enough money? I don't know if you would have enough money to try to full send it. Flynn down to a rookie, Chera, Oliver, like your Bond. You probably can't go Butters, but just
it's
full
silly.
send it. Like
I thought about it, and it goes against everything I said earlier.
No, I can't be saying that to poor old Sammy. Sorry, Sammy. I'm getting a little bit cheeky here. I don't think you can do that, mate. Yeah, but just you're asking for options, mate. You could sort of full send it, do something like that, or else just focus on your value, man. But
this question's come at a really good time, because I think if this is the end of it, we move on to our trades. And a lot of like we're doing might help. So this might be a really good segue. This could answer your question, Sammy boy. But DR, you want to talk us through what you're doing? I guess we work our way across.
You just said what we're doing. I don't actually know, Spills. Because,
what are you doing, mate? What are you doing?
I could have fit. I could have used every box here. I could have taken yours, Janath's, Rossco. I've got that many different scenarios. Excuse me, in my head. These are all obviously using a boost here. I've got 1 boost left, so I'm loath to use it, but the first one you see there is out Bice, Power Pepper, and Flynn. And I've said I want to keep Bice. If Flynn plays, I want to keep him. So, yeah, just throwing around options here. But what it allows me to do is it does get me Chad Warner into the side. So Chad's going to come in whatever trade I make. So I'll say that now. And also gets me Jordan Dawson, mate. So you look at the 3 players I'm trading out. They're not keepers. None of them are keepers, but I'm getting a keeper. And I'm not saying an uber keeper here in Dawson, but someone I'm confident with the price, with what he can do. I'm getting Warner in, who I think is going to be a top forward, and Boxall. Well, you got to get someone. It's a Boxall, it's Erasmus, whoever. So I don't mind that because I'm getting 3 blokes out that aren't going to be premiums and have the chance to drop a stinker here and there. The second one is going full send style, where I'll actually get out Chera instead of Bice, get out Flynn and Power Pepper, get my man Warner in, but just go bugger it. Let's just get Max in. Let's get Max in. Again, Chera, Flynn, and Power Pepper. I don't think they're going to be keepers, mate. And in this situation, I'm getting the big fella in with his 30-odd break-even, whatever sickening thing it is. The heartbreak goes, and I also get Chadley. So that's the other option I'm floating. It could simply be, as well, Power Pepper and Kako for a rookie and Warner. Just keep it simple. It could be Sheriff for Warner, Sheriff for Dawson, and even in that, I think it's that second trade, or no, the top trade that I've got there. I've got Dawson there. I can actually afford Zeret, so it could actually be Zeret, Boxall, and Warner for Bicey, Power Pepper, and Marriage. But I don't know, Spills. What I'm also thinking of, and I'm rambling now, I need money for Sinclair next week. I'm locking and booking that in pretty much to get Sinclair in next week. So that's also my line of thought, but that could be maybe a Chera. That's me, buddy. Are you just going to go and then we'll touch on Janath and Rossco's and then say goodbye?
Yeah. I'll do my trades and then, we'll just quickly
get into it.
Janath and Rossco now. So, Janath's going Boxall, Warner, and Marshall in for Davidson, SPP, Flynn, and Rossco's gone Boxall, Marshall for SPP, Flynn as well. Yeah, go me, the one guy without SPP in the side. So, yeah, we're
getting rid of the great bald king. That's sad. And hang on, and Flynn. So the three of us, well, I'm Janath, Rossco, and myself, all out. Power Pepper, Flynn at this stage. I'd love to ask the boys, and I might get even a comment in the comment section next day when they watch it. Is if Flynn is named, will they still go through with this? I think that's important for context as well. But
I would. If Flynn's named, I'll probably get rid of him. The break even, pretty. I don't know. It's a tricky one. We need to upgrade.
But if we just glazed over this, they're both getting Rowan in.
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
What?
So we've spoke a lot about that tonight, and
all right. Let's get in your trades. And we'll end
the big thing with this is they're not trading out TDK. I like Rowan as a pick. I don't know if I was a fan of getting rid of TDK for him.
True,
but if you're doing it like that, I think it's fine. But with your trades, DR, I think SPP is the one where you can full send a Max Gawn because it's a bit of a luxury. I'd love to have SPP there, but obviously you can play the value game. I would probably do the top one if I was you. But that's similar to what I'm doing, so I can't really argue. It's basically exactly the same. I'm going to go Dawson, mostly because, I see that Janath's got him, so I just feel really safe.
That's why I'm thinking, should we both just go Rowan this week, mate? Like, do we follow suit again?
Janath. That's if you don't know what you're doing with Supercoach and you really can't get anything out of this podcast, just copy Janath because I'll tell you, 9 times out of 10, someone commented and said he carries around a crystal ball. I'm starting to think they're right because far out. Doesn't it go his way sometimes? But no, he's a great coach. Kudos to him. But I think Dawson presents a hell of a lot of value and from where he started, I reckon he just needs to hit a few more targets, and he looks like he's fixed that up. So I love that value. Huswaite, bad miss, really bad miss last week. I'm hoping he can hold.
Not really, man. He's like, there's no one to go to this week, and you've got the luxury of actually getting in this week.
Went bust though. That
that's bad. Sorry,
bust over the half last week really hurt. I couldn't get it done. I was locked out of that trade, so had to wait on Huswaite. So. Welcome him in with open arms. And then, the Chad can come in. I really like this trade. Last year, it was a big trade discussion as a midfielder only when he was around 600K and dropped a lot. But as a forward, we don't need to ask as much from Chad. As a midfielder, you want 115 plus all the time from him. But as a forward, he just needs to 97.8. Like he just needs to keep that up. Like there'll be floor games, there'll be ceiling games, but the flex will take care of it. Value's great, Chad for me, and then we're going Chera, Lindsay, Flynn. I think it's cropped out how much money I'm going to have going forward. I don't think it's a lot. I think it's $10,000 that I've got with this trade. So so mid price of rookie, sort of borderline primo for 2 primos and a rookie. So I'm doing well here with this trade. I'm pretty happy with it. So. No more further discussion there, mate. I reckon we've done pretty well. 2 hours and 20 minutes, a bit longer than usual, but with 50 questions, I think you got through it really nicely. So, we smashed it, man.
We thought, look, the only 2 of us, surely it's going to be like half the time because we don't have 4 of us talking and all the rest. But we didn't have anyone to stop us from rambling and steer us in the ship. But Spills, we did talk retro, bit of a a kick back to 2021 days, and that's exactly what people got. isn't it, brother? Never the same without Janath and Rossco and all the other boys. But, mate, I reckon we did a pretty good job. We discussed all the relevant plays. We even got to the rookies at the end, even though we didn't have our slide, got to them in the mailbag. And this is just Spillsy. Haven't even told you about this. Our new ending slide. I just thought we don't really have a slide to end on. It's just our faces up there. So this is just a little bit of a reminder about all the great organizations and people that we're aligned with. You've obviously got Speedy T's there. You've got the blokes from Game Day Squad. Please check that out. Phenomenal fantasy service that those blokes do produce. Our friends from the Supercoach Hub, make sure you check out the Supercoach Hub Discord. We've got the cash cow there that we didn't have this week that will be back next week. Obviously, the Good Friday appeal. 2 more beanies. I don't know if I mentioned that, Spills. 2 more beanies just got sold today, up to 310, mate. And how good has it been having our other 3 brothers in Vernsey, JG, and Scobes join us for all these lives, mate? They've been killing it.
Great content, isn't it?
Oh, more content you can poke a stick at, mate. We've got the Stocky coming up. That's going to be up tomorrow. We're going to have the Thursday night teams live with Scobes and the boys. Then heading to Sunday night, mate, with some Supercoach talk back. And then we start the week again with Mondays. Rage Trade with the boys. Go through the top 10 traded in and most traded out players. So, Spillsy, you really don't need to go to any other channel. I'd recommend that you do, because there's some legends out there and many of our brothers
have all here, though.
Great stuff. But come on, mate. Like, is there anything that we don't provide for the community here, mate? Come on, Spillsy.
Well, I guess
the place to be.
There's one thing that's not here, and it is the elephant that hasn't been in the room lately. But yeah, those might have noticed. I have put a bit of a hold on chit chat with Spillsy. I've been struggling with it. I just can't get enough hotlines. The hotlines was a bit of inspiration from like Dan Does Footy. I like that side of it, and just couldn't get enough people, not enough like Q&A things. We do a lot of that as it is, and it is a big commitment. So yeah, if there's any sort of advice or any way where we can get that going again, where it's a bit of a success, the views are pretty low as well. And so yeah, I'm a bit lost with it.
Maybe a gun show or something, mate. Maybe
gun show.
Hey, if you did that with the rig out, just take the old singlet, the old jumper off there, mate, then maybe that audience will start to grow rapidly, mate.
Oh, look, DR, it's good to see I've got me uses, and I can't always bring the Supercoach knowledge. Can't bring the most wisdom, and yeah, I've definitely got me flaws, but yeah, it's good to see that. Yeah, sometimes a good rig can get done for you on the occasion. I'm glad that's. I'm glad it's appreciated.
You're more than a piece of meat, mate. You're more than a piece of meat. I reckon we end on this. Now, this is something that I've been wearing. Are you okay? Are you okay? So, Spills, you're going to end on that, mate. For anyone that is struggling at the moment, going through a bit of tough times, as many people in the world are, unfortunately, just keep in mind that you got us, you got all the Swordplay crew, you got the whole Supercoach community behind you. Reach out.
We're open on Twitter as well.
100% Spills, 100%, mate. I'll wear that around the little wrist every day, mate. It's not a big one, not a big wrist there, but yeah, make sure that you reach out to friends if you're struggling. If you're struggling in your Supercoach, make sure to tune in to all the content coming up during the week, Spillsy. You going to leave us with anything, mate, or just a see you later, goodbye, mate?
I guess just on what you just said, like, I'm okay. I'm more than okay, but that's okay not to be okay. And yeah, if you're not okay, talk to your friends, talk to anyone. I mean, yeah, it's a very important time of the year. I mean, don't like to touch on it, but yeah, the suicide rate in Australia is pretty dramatic. It always has been the last sort of 10 years or so. So yeah, keep talking, keep opening up to your friends, and yeah, more often than not, no one's going to judge you. People just help you out. So yeah, be open, and yeah, always talk to you friends and family. But yeah, good potty, DR. Really smashed it out like old times. It's huge. It's like, smacks of 2020, 2021 about it. I don't think we've solo potted together since 2021, since we first recruited Janath.
So, man. Yeah.
So it has been a long time. So no, I've enjoyed it.
Absolutely,
hopefully we get the whole gang back next week. But yeah, great potty, man. I think we did well.
I love you, mate. Like a brother. Thank you very much for watching, guys. And good luck getting some extra scoops on your ice cream this week. Take care, guys.